In an age where the galaxy bends beneath the weight of prophecy, destiny, and divine decree, there came a woman who moved through reality as though the universe itself stepped politely out of her way. She was not strong as the Astartes, nor eternal as the Primarchs, nor blessed by any god, but fate, the weave of chance, the thread of what should be and what must, failed before her. And when a cosmic teleportation event tore her from her world and hurled her screaming into the Imperium, the warp instinctively recoiled, because something inside her did not belong, something that made probability shatter like thin glass, something even daemons feared to touch, something that turned the tides of fate inward, controlled, focused, selfish. Luck. A mutation so subtle it should have been impossible in the 41st millennium, yet so powerful that it terrified beings who claimed dominion over chaos itself. She fell through the tear in reality, tumbling into a war-torn galaxy that devours miracles and burns witches in the same breath. She did not ask to be here. She did not understand this place. She did not know that hundreds of eyes, human, machine, daemon, divine, would turn toward her the moment she arrived. Rain of ash, voices chanting litanies, gunfire cracking the horizon, Domino blinked. And with one lucky misstep, she landed in the worst possible place in the galaxy. The Imperium of Man, a place where miracles were worshipped and witches were killed. And yet, somehow, she survived it. Somehow she escaped because fate bends for her, because bullets miss her. Because the galaxy refuses to kill her, and because she is the one thing this era fears most, a woman who cannot be predicted. Thus begins the saga of Domino, the white shadow of impossible odds. The Imperium's walking contradiction, the rogue probability weapon who refused every cage. The teleportation accident should have killed her. Billions of variables aligned against her survival. Millions of quantum interactions failed. The cosmic gate collapsed mid-translation. Domino felt her atoms scatter. She felt the universe lose track of her. She felt the warp open its jaws, hungriest, eager to taste a new form of mutation. Then something happened that never happens in the warp. The Immaterium hesitated. A pink-blue storm front of daemonic entities surged toward her, claws of psychoplastic thought stretching to pull her apart, and slipped, reality skewed. A daemonic maw closed on empty space. A warp predator lunged at her and collided with another instead. A tidal wave of psychic acid broke harmlessly around her, parting like a curtain. The warp recoiled, not with fear, not with reverence, with confusion. She shouldn't exist, not here, not this way. A mutant who manipulated probability not externally, not wildly, but internally, subconsciously, selfishly. The warp understood power. It understood corruption, emotion, fear, rage. But luck? Luck was not a force. Luck was a cheat code. Domino drifted through the storm unscathed, hair drifting weightlessly, eyes wide with shock as she tumbled through kaleidoscopic madness. She whispered to herself, "Okay, Nina, think positive. Maybe this isn't as bad as it looks." A shard of a dead god missed her head by 2 inches. A daemon prince lunged, tripped over a floating ruin of a starship. A warp vortex formed, imploded instantly. Domino exhaled. Right, sure, everything's fine. Then she fell, spat out of the warp like a seed ejected from rotten fruit, and crashed into the real space of the 41st millennium. She landed hard in the cracked, crumbling courtyard of a cathedral burned black by war. Flaming rubble exploded around her. A transport carrier crashed into the far wall seconds later. She didn't even see it coming. She stood up, brushing off ash. Okay, note to self, whoever built that teleporter is so fired. Then she sensed it. Dozens of armoured figures, red robes, gold-trimmed armour, helmets shaped like medieval saints, bolters raised, incense smoke drifting, eyes full of suspicion and divine fury. She stared back at them, blinking. A sister superior pointed her blade. "Witch!" Domino raised a finger. "Okay, I feel like we're starting on the wrong foot. A bolter shell detonated inches from her head as she slipped on a loose chunk of rubble. She didn't die. The sisters froze. That shot should have turned her skull into a mural, but the shell misfired, or the angle shifted, or her slip changed the timeline. Domino swallowed. Right, no pressure or anything. Another sister whispered, an impossible dodge. Could it be an act of faith? The superior hissed. No, witches mock faith with their tricks. Domino lifted her hands slowly. Ladies, I promise you, I am just as confused as you are. Then the air split with the shriek of descending inquisitorial dropships. Sirens blared, chains rattled. Someone shouted, "Target is loose! Contain the probability witch!" Domino sighed. It's gonna be one of those days. She turned. She ran. And luck. That traitor, that shield, that cheat code made sure every bullet, every beam, every blessed projectile flew everywhere except into her, even if it meant turning the world against itself in the process. The courtyard detonated with gunfire. Bolter shells thundered through the air, each one blessed with rites meant to erase heretics in a shower of holy fire. Incandescent streaks carved patterns through smoke and ash. Domino sprinted across cracked stone tiles, boots slipping on powdered marble, heart pounding. She wasn't panicking. She never panicked. But she did mutter to herself, if any of you hit me, it'll be a first. A bolt shell screeched past her head and struck a statue of Saint Praxia instead, decapitating it. The head didn't fall on Domino. It fell on the sister who fired. The armoured woman toppled with a grunt, cursing beneath her helm. Domino blinked. Okay, that one wasn't my fault. Probably. More armoured shapes closed around her, the zealous and unyielding warriors of the Sisters of Battle, their robes swirling with sanctified soot. A sister raised a flamer, roaring, "Heresy cannot escape the judgment of flame." Domino skidded on loose rubble, fell entirely by accident, and the flamer gout swept over the ground above her, incinerating a line of purity seals and lighting a supply crate the sisters had parked a little too close to the cathedral wall. The crate exploded. The blast hurled 2 sisters into an alcove. Domino hit the ground, rolled, jumped up and whispered, "Ladies, can we talk about safety protocols?" A metallic shriek cut the air. Inquisitorial dropships descended, black and gold hulls shining with purity seals and threat runes. Servo skulls drifted out, target beams crisscrossing the courtyard. A Vox-amplified voice barked, "Probability anomaly detected. Do not let her escape the perimeter." Domino groaned. "Probability anomaly? You people really need to workshop your insults." Stormtroopers poured out, carapace armour clattering, hellguns glowing. Domino sprinted toward the ruined archway. The first volley of lasfire flicked past her, every shot narrowly missing. Not because she dodged, because one trooper's gun jammed, another took a step on a loose stone and stumbled, a third was blinded by a gust of ash, a fourth fired too late when Domino tripped on a holy candle and ducked under the beam. She cursed as she briefly face-planted. Then she popped back up. Seriously, why do I always have to survive in the least dignified ways? A stormtrooper tossed a suppression grenade. It bounced once on the stone, twice, rolled, and plinked neatly into a crack between tiles, directly under a sister's boot. The grenade detonated straight upward, blasting the sister 10 feet into the air, flipping her helplessly as she screamed, "The witch is toying with the Emperor's own!" Domino gasped, "Oh, come on, that one wasn't even me!" The sisters didn't believe her. The Inquisition definitely didn't believe her. And the worst news? A second dropship descended, slower and heavier, doors opening like the maw of a steel beast. A woman stepped out, tall, scowling, armoured in black with crimson trim. Chains hung from her gauntlets, and a psychic hood hummed with restrained hatred. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn. The kind of woman whose expression said she hadn't smiled since birth and didn't plan to start today. Her eyes locked onto Domino. "A witch of impossible fate," Vaughn intoned. A rogue assassin woven with lies and aberration. You will submit. Domino raised a hand. Super sorry, ma'am, but nobody calls me an aberration except my ex. Vaughn lifted her palm. A crackling psychic net formed, shimmering with hexing wards and sigils. Bind her. Domino's eyebrow twitched. Oh, nope. A series of things happened in rapid succession. A sister fired a bolter shell. It ricocheted off a broken shrine plate. It struck a crumbling column. The column toppled. The toppled debris knocked over a massive metal sensor. The sensor rolled down the stairs. The sensor smashed into a servo skull. The servo skull spun wildly, firing its lasbeam at random. The random lasbeam cut the leg of a statue. The statue fell. Domino ran under it at the exact right moment. The statue landed between her and the Inquisitor. The psychic net hit the statue instead, detonating. Domino gave the universe a sarcastic thumbs up. Nice. Even the sisters hesitated. Even the Inquisition faltered. Inquisitor Vaughn stared at the collapsing statue, eyes narrowing. This is not sorcery. This is not mutation. This is not psionics. She pointed at Domino. This is wrong. Hunt her. Domino rolled backward through a gap in the rubble as hellgun fire scorched the air where her head had been. She ducked into a shattered chapel doorway. She laughed once. Only once. Yep. Definitely one of those days. Then she ran, deeper into the ruins, where even faith and fire had trouble following. The chapel was a shattered husk of its former glory. Broken pews, half-melted stained glass, and burned incense thick enough to taste. Domino vaulted through the debris, boots skidding across polished stone now cracked from bombardment. Outside, the sisters' boots thundered closer. Inside, the Inquisition voxnet crackled with furious static. But Domino wasn't listening to either. She was listening to her heartbeat, her instincts, the tiny, inexplicable nudges of fate that always whispered, "Left, now duck, now jump, just trust me." She whispered back, Yeah, I'm listening." She slid behind a pillar as lasfire carved streaks across the doorway she'd just passed through. A sister of battle burst in, flamer raised, roaring, "Heretic, face the purifying flame!" Domino leaned to the side. Her elbow brushed a sagging tapestry. The old cloth collapsed, directly onto the sister's helm, blinding her with 700 years of dust. The sister tripped. The flamer triggered. A sacred statue ignited. The burning statue fell forward. It crashed through the chapel floor and punched a smoking hole right into the crypt level. Domino blinked. Wow, even for me, that felt personal. 3 more sisters entered, fanning out with weapons raised. One pointed at the burning hole. "Did you see that? The flame burned the floor but spared the witch. Is this divine intervention?" Another glared. "No, it is a test. If she is unburned, the Emperor reveals her sins." A third whispered reverently, or her purity. An argument broke out mid-hunt. Domino stood behind a pillar, listening. "Do you ladies need a minute?" They spun toward her. "There!" Domino backflipped down into the burning hole before the flamers belched again. She landed in a stone chamber lit only by flickering firelight. Sarcophagi lined the walls. Candles melted onto skulls carved with scripture. A thin walkway of cracked stone stretched ahead. Domino tested a step. The slab tilted dangerously. She stepped back. Then, far above, a sister fired a bolter. The recoil knocked her backward. She struck a rope. A sensor fell. It hit the walkway. The walkway shifted back into perfect alignment. Domino blinked upward. "Thank you, I guess." She crossed safely. Behind her, a stormtrooper rappelled through the hole. The moment his boots touched the walkway, the entire slab collapsed and dropped him screaming into the darkness. Domino winced. Ouch. Not my fault. A blast door deeper in the crypt slid open with a hydraulic hiss. 3 stormtroopers rushed in, led by an inquisitorial interrogator wearing a rebreather mask and carrying a shock maul. He pointed it at her. "Subject 990 Sigma! Hold! Still!" Domino lifted her pistol with a lazy shrug. "Look, buddy, You're wearing a faceplate that looks like a medieval coffee press. I'm not taking orders from you." He surged forward. His troopers fired. The overhead candles fell from their holders, not on Domino, but onto the lead trooper's visor. He panicked, stumbled, fired wildly. A ricochet clipped a pipe. Steam blasted out. The blast of steam hit the interrogator. He staggered, tripped, fell into a sarcophagus. The sarcophagus lid slammed shut. Domino blinked. "Okay, sorry, but that was hilarious." The two remaining troopers trembled. One whispered, "Emperor's mercy, she redirects reality." The other murmured, "She bends fate. She might be." Domino raised an eyebrow. "Huge pain in your ass?" "A saint," the trooper whispered. Domino froze. "Wait, what?" They hesitated. She didn't. She bolted through the open blast door. The door slammed shut behind her. A long corridor stretched ahead, lit by flickering purity lamps. She could hear the sisters above, the stormtroopers behind, the Inquisition closing in. Domino exhaled. "All right, Nina. Left or right?" 2 hallways branched ahead. Left, dark, cold, ominous. Right, lit, warm, suspiciously inviting. She listened to her gut. Her gut said, left. She stepped. The entire left hallway collapsed into a yawning abyss. Domino yelped, leaping back just in time. Rubble exploded in a cloud of dust and bone fragments. She groaned. "Okay, new plan. Don't listen to my gut." She went right. It was the correct choice. For exactly 6 seconds. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn appeared at the far end of the corridor, psychic hood glowing, eyes shining with cold fire. Domino whispered, "Oh, great, the world's angriest librarian." Vaughn raised her hand. A psychic gravity well snapped into existence, throwing Domino to the ground. Vaughn's voice boomed, "Probability witch, you will not escape divine justice." Domino groaned, pinned by invisible force. "Lady, you have no idea how many people have said that to me today. Submit." "Nope." "Bow. Nah, break. Try me," Vaughn snarled. "Very well." She poured more power into the psychic crush. Domino's bones creaked, her vision blurred. She whispered, "Hey, luck." A candle fell. A chain snapped. A relic banner came loose. The banner pole tipped, fell, hit a cracked tile. The tile flipped upward like a lever. And the hallway's fire suppression sprinklers, long malfunctioning, activated for the first time in a century. A deluge. Not on Domino. Directly on Vaughn's psychic hood. The sudden thermal shock blew the hood's focusing crystals apart. Vaughn shrieked as the psychic field collapsed. Domino sat up, panting. "You okay? You look like you got dumped by a water elemental." Vaughn roared, "Kill her!" Domino ran. The cathedral's lower halls shook as Domino sprinted through them, half acrobat, half panic, and half, "This is going to work out somehow, right?" Behind her echoed the enraged roar of Inquisitor Malia Vaughn, whose psychic hood was still sputtering and smoking from its very unexpected holy sprinkler system baptism. Ahead of her came chanting. Lots of chanting. Domino slowed. "Oh, great, the choir." She turned a corner and ran face first into a procession of armoured women in white and red robes, carrying burning censers and relic banners. Their helmets gleamed, their eyes were fervent, their bolters were decorated, not the standard sororitas, the Order of the Argent Veil, a minor but deeply superstitious sisterhood whose members specialised in identifying emerging saints or killing false ones. Their canoness froze when she saw Domino. Her eyes widened, her breath caught. "It is her." Domino blinked. "Sorry, what?" The canoness fell to one knee. The one the scriptures foretold, the impossible daughter, the saint of the stray miracle. Domino blinked twice. 3 sisters behind the canoness fainted. "No, no, no, no!" Domino hissed, waving her hands frantically. "You definitely have the wrong girl." The canoness rose, gripping her rosarius. "You survived the unslain flame. You dodged the Emperor's bolts. You were bathed in holy water that extinguished the witch's curse." Domino held up a finger. "Okay, but technically, and just now the canoness said reverently, the Emperor guided your steps to us." Domino shook her head violently. "Nope, nope, nope!" The Emperor had nothing to do with this. Trust me, if he met me, he'd be like, "Who the hell let you in?" A younger sister gasped softly. She speaks with irreverent purity, as prophecy foretold. Domino felt her eye twitch. Are you guys sure this isn't heat stroke? The canoness lifted her sword overhead. Behold, she cried. Domino raised both hands. No behold! No beholding! Do not behold me! Too late, the procession knelt, armour clattering in unified devotion. A saint walks among us, a bringer of improbable blessings, a shepherd of divine misfortune to our foes. Domino squeaked, "Stop saying things!" The walls cracked, air vibrated. A psychic roar blasted the corridor like a hurricane. Vaughn stomped into view, armour scorched, eyes burning with azure flame. "Sisters, step away from the witch." The canoness turned slowly. "We do not step away from saints." "She is a heretic! She is a miracle! She is a threat! She is a sign!" Domino pointed between them like someone trapped between two parents mid-divorce. Hey, why don't we all calm down? We can sit at a table, talk about our feelings, not get shot. Vaughn cut her off, voice dripping venom. She manipulates probability. She twists fate. She bends reality around herself. The canoness straightened proudly. "Indeed, a living vessel of the Emperor's protection." "No!" Vaughn hissed. "She is a witch whose power is statistically impossible, and anything impossible is heretical." Domino shrugged, lightly. "I mean, she's not wrong." The canoness signalled her sisters. Bolters rose. Vaughn signalled her stormtroopers. Hell guns hummed. Domino held both hands up. The corridor vibrated with tension. "I don't want a war," Domino said, "especially not one where I'm in the middle, or the back, or anywhere." Vaughn's eyes flared. "You cannot escape justice." The canoness whispered. "She cannot escape destiny." Domino hissed. "I can escape everything. That's literally my thing." One stormtrooper stepped forward. He slipped on a single, forgotten purity seal. His gun fired. The bolt ricocheted off a shrine statue. It hit a relic banner pole. The pole swung down. It struck a sensor chain. The sensor snapped loose and swung like a giant mace. It hit Vaughn's psychic hood. The hood overloaded. A telekinetic shockwave blasted outward. The shockwave struck the canoness. She stumbled into Domino. Domino staggered backward and fell through a relic curtain, directly into a hidden escape tunnel. An escape tunnel no one in the cathedral knew existed. The curtain swung shut behind her. Silence. Domino blinked, lying on her back. Okay, that was surprisingly gentle. Above her, chaos erupted as sisters and stormtroopers screamed. Domino rolled onto her feet. When she dusted off her shoulders. "Right, new plan. Run first, ask questions later." She sprinted into the darkness. Behind her, Vaughn screamed, "Find her! Find the witch!" The canoness shouted, "Protect the saint!" Domino shouted back through the tunnel, "I am neither of those things." Her echo disagreed. The escape tunnel sloped downward in a long spiral of dust and cold air, far older than the cathedral above. Domino's boots clattered across forgotten stone, every footstep stirring echoes that sounded suspiciously like encouragement. Her breath puffed white. Her heart thumped. Her inner voice whispered, "Left at the fork. No, not that left. The other left. You know the one." Domino smirked. "Okay, gut. I owe you one, but just one." She moved deeper. Unseen mechanisms clicked to life in her wake. Ancient sensors tracked her steps. Hidden wards flickered. Then, far behind her, the tunnel curtain rustled. Someone else had followed. A single figure, armoured, silent, carrying a bolter painted white and silver. A sister from the Argent Vale, but not the canoness. Someone younger, someone curious, someone doubting. And she whispered to herself, "Emperor, guide my steps. If she is a saint, I must see it with my own eyes." Domino emerged into a massive chamber humming with life. Dozens of tunnels, pipes, rail lines and service corridors intersecting like a giant mechanical throat. A clanky servitor froze mid-stride as she stepped out. Its monotone vox croaked, "By the Omnissiah, unauthorized biological anomaly detected." Domino pointed at it. Buddy, I'm barely authorized anywhere. It raised a scanning array. Sparks burst, its data spine overloaded, its ocular lenses spun like roulette wheels. Peak probability error, error. It tipped over backward with a clang. Domino winced. Sorry, that happens sometimes. A tech priest poked his head out of a nearby maintenance alcove. His mechadendrites twitched. His metallic voice warbled with genuine alarm. What was that noise? Holy calculation error! He saw Domino. He saw the collapsed servitor. He saw the flickering auspex. No, this cannot be a free-roaming anomaly. He aimed a mechadendrite. Restrictive net deploy. A pipe behind him burst. Steam blasted him forward. The mechadendrite misfired. He tripped and fell face first into his own restraining net. He screamed in Binharik. Domino stepped around him. Engineer down. That's not my fault, probably. Vox-hailers blared throughout the corridors. Probability witch detected in lower servitus sector. All troops converge. Domino swore under her breath. I swear, if one more person calls me a witch, I'm hexing someone out of spite. A squad of stormtroopers rounded the corner. Hellguns hot. There she is! Domino dove behind a service console. Shots sizzled past her. One shot ricocheted. Bounced off a steel plate. Hit a coolant pipe. The coolant pipe burst. The floor iced instantly. 5 troopers slipped like they'd stepped onto a skating rink from hell. They crashed in a heap. Domino peeked over the console. Okay, I'm starting to think you're doing this on purpose, she whispered to her own luck. Her luck did not deny it. Domino ducked into a side chamber, panting, and froze. The young sister from the Argent Veil stood there, hands raised, bolter slung. Her voice was soft. Saint? Domino rubbed her face. I am not a saint. Why do people keep saying that? The sister stepped closer. You move untouched by flame. Bullets avoid you. The world bends around you. Either you are witch or miracle. Domino held up both hands. Okay, look. I get it. Weird things happen around me. But trust me, none of this is holy. The sister lowered her bolter further. You speak plainly. Honestly, if you are heretic, why do you not flee into darkness? Domino blinked. What do you think I've been doing for the last 20 minutes? The sister paused. Oh, yeah. That makes more sense now. Thank you. The sister stepped closer. Then what are you? Domino sighed. A mess. A mutant. A woman who wins coin tosses she never meant to flip. Someone who doesn't die when she probably should. The sister whispered, That sounds like a blessing. Domino stared at her. It feels like a coin flip every day. The sister hesitated. Then she whispered the forbidden words, I want to believe you. Domino felt a surprising sting behind her eyes. Then believe me when I say, you need to run. The Inquisition isn't here to debate theology. The sister nodded slowly. Then I go with you. Domino blinked hard. What? You need help. The tunnels lead to the city above. I know them. Domino pointed at her wildly. Oh, no, kid. You have way too much armor to be making bad life choices today. The sister straightened proudly. I am Sister Calith of the Argent Veil, and I choose to walk beside the saint. Domino grabbed her face with both hands. I am not a... An explosion rocked the chamber. Debris fell. A massive steel gate crashed down behind them, sealing off the corridor. Domino and Calith stared at each other. Domino pointed at the sealed gate. See? Luck says we're partners now. Calith beamed. The Emperor provides, Domino groaned. Sure, let's go with that before I lose my mind. Far down the corridor, Vaughn stepped through the wrecked servitor remains, psychic sparks trailing from her gauntlets. She spoke through clenched teeth. Track her, corner her, break her. A stormtrooper knelt. Lady Inquisitor, every attempt to calculate her trajectory fails. She moves, nonsensically. Vaughn's voice dropped to a cold, murderous whisper. Then we follow the impossible, because wherever reality bends, the witch is near. The Imperial Undercity was a maze of pipes, steam vents, shuttle rails, maintenance corridors, ritualized machinery, and centuries of bad decisions welded together with faith and rust. For most fugitives, it was a death trap. For Domino, it was a playground built specifically to confuse every armed zealot trying to shoot her. Domino sprinted through a narrow walkway suspended over a massive chasm of machinery. Sister Calith followed close behind, Bolter held at ease but ready. Calith whispered, "Blessed be the saint's swiftness." Domino snapped, "Finish that sentence and I swear something's going to explode." Calith immediately shut her mouth. Behind them, hellgun fire sliced through the air as a squad of stormtroopers poured onto the catwalk. "Witch spotted! Contain her!" Domino glanced over her shoulder as she ran. Every time they yell that, it gets less accurate. Calith added, "They believe what they are taught." Domino snorted. "Well, they need new teachers." A last bolt struck the catwalk support strut. The strut groaned. The entire walkway tilted violently. Calith nearly fell. But Domino grabbed her arm and yanked her back just as a loose cable whipped down from above, smacking the lead stormtrooper square in the visor and sending him tumbling off the platform. His scream echoed through the machinery canyon. Calith gasped, "That was unfortunate." "For him," Domino said. "For us, pretty standard Tuesday." They reached a junction where 3 bridges intersected over a roaring furnace shaft. Metal screamed underfoot. Red danger runes flickered. Calith pointed frantically. "That bridge leads up to the transit elevators." Domino nodded and sprinted across. A stormtrooper squad appeared on the left bridge, a sororitas strike team on the right. Bolters and hellguns lit up like a festival of very angry fireworks. Domino ducked behind a pillar. Calith crouched beside her. "What now?" Domino exhaled. "We trust the universe." Calith blinked. "That sounds very much like faith." "Trust me, it's not." Domino rolled out from cover, sprinting directly toward the intersection where all 3 bridges met. Gunfire roared in every direction. Hellgun bursts scorched the railings. Bolter shells detonated against the steel floor. A sister shouted, "The saint runs through the fire!" A stormtrooper shouted, "The witch runs toward execution." Domino shouted, "Can everyone stop labeling me for 5 seconds? Last fire hit a hanging chain. The chain whipped downward. It knocked a bolter sideways. The bolter shell ricocheted. It hit a tension cable. The cable snapped. It triggered a failsafe. The failsafe dropped an emergency blast shield, right between Domino and everyone shooting at her. Calith dove across at the last second and slid under the blast shield before it slammed into place. Silence. Domino stared at the wall that now separated them from their pursuers. Okay, universe, that was classy. Calith lay sprawled on the ground, panting. Domino, that was... Don't say miracle. Astonishing. I'll take that. They slipped into a cargo elevator alcove lined with crates, servo arms, and flickering rune screens. Domino tapped a control panel. To her surprise, it worked. The elevator platform shuddered upward. Calith exhaled. "For all the chaos, your luck is a wonder." Domino shook her head. "It's not wonder. It's not divine. It's not holy. It's just me. And trust me, it screws with everyone." Calith looked up at her. "Does it screw with you?" Domino hesitated. She almost shrugged it off, almost joked, but instead quietly, "Yeah, sometimes." Before Calith could answer, the elevator jerked violently. Red runes flashed. Sirens wailed. Domino muttered, "What now?" The platform screeched to a stop mid-shaft. Calith grabbed the railing. "What is happening?" Domino listened. Something fell into the gears. Something clattered below. Something heavy. Something metallic. The elevator lurched again. Domino and Calith stumbled as the floor tilted. Below them, a massive object rolled into view, a dropped stormtrooper grenade. Calith whispered, "Oh no!" Domino whispered, "Oh, of course!" The grenade detonated, but the explosion didn't kill them. The shockwave blasted the elevator sideways into a maintenance shaft. The world spun, metal screamed, The elevator crashed through a series of pipes, steam blasted everywhere, a hydraulic arm swung around, and by pure accident, pure misfortune, pure impossible luck, the elevator slid perfectly onto a secondary rail track and continued upward like nothing had happened. Calith clung to the railing, wide-eyed. "Saint, that should not have worked." Domino rubbed her temples. "It shouldn't. It never should. That's why I hate when people call it divine." Calith looked at her softly. "Then what do you call it?" Domino stared upward as the elevator opened into the mid-level transit station. "A problem," she said, "especially when people try to dissect it." Calith's expression hardened. "Then we protect you." Domino laughed under her breath. "Kid, you're going to regret saying that." The elevator doors slid open, and 50 Imperial guardsmen pointed their rifles at her. "Target acquired," Domino sighed. "Told you." The elevator doors slid open. A wall of las guns stared back at Domino. Dozens of Imperial guardsmen in flak armour took formation across the transit hub, an industrial cathedral of steel platforms, cargo lifts, tram rails and flickering lumen strips. The air hummed with tension and the faint thunder of trains far below. At the centre stood a stern commissar, coat whipping in the vent draft. His bionic eye whirred as it locked onto her. "By order of the Imperium," he barked, "the probability which is to be detained or terminated." Domino raised her hands. "Look, fellas, I'm really not in the mood to get shot at by budget stormtroopers." The commissar twitched. "Fire!" The first las volley blazed toward her, and somehow everything immediately went wrong for everyone except Domino. A trooper slipped on a dropped ration tin, his rifle angled upward. The shot hit a lumen fixture. The fixture burst. Glass rained down on 2 more troopers. They flinched. Someone misfired. A las bolt struck a conveyor belt control panel. The conveyor roared to life. Crates zoomed across the platform, slamming directly into the firing line and knocking soldiers into a pile of shouting confusion. Calith ducked beside Domino, wide-eyed. "That was... don't say miracle," Domino warned, sprinting for cover. "Astonishing!" Calith corrected. "Much better." The commissar steadied himself as the hub descended into chaos. He tore his power sword free, bellowing, "You will not escape the Emperor's justice!" Domino vaulted over a railing. "Buddy, by the end of today, I'm going to be the one filing a harassment complaint." He charged. She dodged, barely, because her foot caught a loose cable, sending her sliding across the floor at the exact speed required for the commissar's blade to miss her by a hair and embed itself into a cogitator terminal. The cogitator screamed, sparked, and began violently purging its systems. A klaxon blared. "Warning! Transit shuttle arriving at unsafe velocity." Domino sighed. "Oh good. Trains, this'll go great." A tram roared down the central rail faster than anything with passengers should. Calith whispered, "We must move." "No kidding." They darted across the platform as the runaway train thundered closer. Guardsmen panicked, scattering. The commissar shouted orders that no one followed. As Domino and Calith ran, a crate fell from the ceiling. It hit a forklift. The forklift lurched forward. It spun. Its prongs jammed into the train's undercarriage, slowing it by exactly enough that the train screeched to a halt inches before flattening a squad of troopers. The troopers collapsed in shock. One cried. Calith stared. "Domino, how did—" Domino pointed firmly. "Not divine, not holy, not blessed, just irritating." Before they reached the far exit, the Voxnet crackled with a cold, venomous voice. "This is Inquisitor Melia Vaughn. All units stand aside." Calith froze. Domino muttered, "Oh great, the psychic headache is here." A tram door exploded outward, and Vaughn stepped through the smoke, her armour gleaming with cracked psychic shielding, her gauntlets wreathed in violet energy. Stormtroopers formed behind her. A squad of sororitas stormed in from the upper balcony. Servo skulls hovered like hungry vultures. It was a full lockdown. They surrounded Domino and Calith from all sides. Vaughn lifted one hand. Your luck ends here, witch. Domino shrugged. Lady, I've been hearing that since breakfast. Vaughan snarled. This is not luck. This is a crime against probability, a mutation that bends causality itself. I will unmake it. Calith stepped in front of Domino. You will not touch her. Vaughan's eyes narrowed. A sister defending a mutant? Calith swallowed hard, but held her stance. She is no mutant. She is, Domino hissed. Calith, no, don't. Guided by a purpose we do not yet understand, Domino palmed her face. Damn it! Vaughan lowered her psychic hood, letting power bleed into the air like venom. All forces, she commanded coldly. Open fire! Kill the witch! Kill the traitor! Kill anything that survives the blast. Dozens of rifles raised. Calith whispered. Domino, I am not afraid. Domino whispered back. Well, I am. Vaughan's hand snapped downward. Fire! And then a tram door behind Domino suddenly slid open. Not a train, not a unit. Just an empty tram car. Empty. Powered. Waiting. Domino blinked. Oh, well, that's convenient. She grabbed Calith's wrist. Move! They dove into the tram just as las guns fired, bolters roared. Psychic lightning tore down the platform. A stray las bolt struck the tram's auto-departure rune. The doors slammed shut. The tram ignited at full throttle. Domino and Calith were thrown backward as it blasted down the tunnels, leaving behind smoke, gunfire, and the raging Inquisitor. Vaughan screamed, After her! After the witch! Seal every exit! Track every car! I want her found! Her psychic aura crackled with fury, cracking tiles beneath her boots. And all the while, the tram Domino was on sped into the night, because it was the only tram on rails that still functioned. The only tram with fuel. The only tram with unbroken transit corridors. The only tram the Inquisition didn't have tracking on because it wasn't even supposed to exist anymore. Luck didn't just protect Domino, it mocked the Imperium. The tram thundered through the abandoned mag rails, lights flickering, ancient machinery screeching from disuse. Domino and Sister Calith clung to their seats as sparks showered from the ceiling. Domino shouted over the roar, I swear this thing is held together with prayer and duct tape. Calith shouted back, half of the Imperium is. A support strut tore loose above them and slammed harmlessly onto the seat behind Domino. Domino didn't even look. See? Like that. Normal day. The tram shot out of the mountain sector and into open air. Domino blinked at the sight. Even after everything she'd seen today, the warp, sisters, Inquisitors, this world still stunned her. A blasted wasteland stretched beneath crumbling sky bridges. Warfires burned on the horizon. Saint statues toppled in the distance. Great pilgrim highways choked with refugees. A swarm of transports roared overhead like angry insects. Calith made the sign of the Aquila. We are outside the inner sanctum, the wastelands of the lower hive. Domino peered through the cracked window. This place looks like Mad Max had a baby with Catholic Rome. Calith looked confused. I do not know these saints. Domino sighed. Never mind. The tram screeched as it hit a bend. Alarms wailed. A servo skull buzzed to life on the ceiling, flickering with static. Transit line B77 active. This is statistically impossible. Error. Error. The skull blinked once. Then it exploded. Domino ducked. Okay, if even the drones are having existential crises, this is getting ridiculous. Calith cleared her throat. This line was shut down decades ago. No one uses it. No one even knows it still connects to the outer districts. Domino smirked. Except me, apparently. Calith nodded reverently. Yes, because you are. Don't say saint. Guided. I'll take it. As the tram barreled into a long tunnel, the lights dimmed. A cold wind passed through the car, but there were no vents. Calith shivered. What was that? Domino didn't answer. Because she saw something. A ripple, a shimmer. A distortion in the air across from her seat, like a heat haze in the shape of a person. A whisper slithered into her ear. Probability is delicious. Domino stiffened. Oh no. Nope. No way. Do not start whispering sweet nothings into my temporal field. Calith blinked. Domino, what is? A shadowy outline coalesced, faint but visible, a humanoid form made of swirling warp motes watching Domino with unnatural hunger. Calith gasped. "A daemon!" Domino groaned. "Of course a daemon wants me. Why wouldn't a cosmic horror crave my lucky aura like a Thanksgiving turkey?" The entity tilted its head, whispering, "You skew fate. You defy the great game. You are a broken rule." Domino pointed angrily at it. "You keep describing me like patch notes." The daemon's voice deepened. "Your luck tastes like stolen destiny." Calith raised her bolter, shaking. "Daemon, begone!" she fired. The bolt round passed through the daemon harmlessly and detonated against the far wall. The daemon didn't flinch. Domino clicked her tongue. "Kid, I don't think bullets work on living math problems." The daemon stretched a hand toward Domino, reality around its fingers warping. Crack! The tram hit a switch track. The jolt made the daemon's form flicker violently. Domino lunged forward and kicked the emergency fuse panel. Sparks erupted. The whole tram glowed with static. The daemon shrieked as the tram's electromagnetic shielding surged unexpectedly. Its form dissolved into glittering mist. Calith stared in awe. "You banished it," Domino panted. "I did not! The train did, because apparently my luck decided daemons are today's side quest." Far behind them, a Vox transmission crackled into life. A gunship roared over the transit line, piloted by stormtroopers of the Inquisition. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn stood on the open ramp, cloak whipping, eyes blazing with psychic fury. An officer beside her pointed at the tram far ahead. "Lady Inquisitor, we have visual," Vaughn hissed. "Bring us in range. She will not escape. Not from me, not from destiny." The gunship accelerated. Domino leaned her head back, trying to catch her breath. Calith spoke softly. "We must get off soon. This tram will carry us into the industrial wastes." Domino shrugged. "Better than the people chasing us." Calith nodded. "Then we are free?" Domino snorted. "Honey, I am never free." The tram lurched violently. Domino blinked. Okay, that felt deliberate. Lights flickered. The control console sparked. The tram kept accelerating. And accelerating. And accelerating. Calith grabbed a pole. "Domino, is the tram supposed to—" "Nope. Definitely nope. Extremely nope." The speed kept climbing. The tracks blurred. Wind howled through broken windows. Domino realized what her luck was doing. "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," Calith shouted. "What?" Domino pointed ahead. "My luck is trying to help again, which means we're about to crash into exactly the place we need to be." Calith whispered, "Where is that?" Domino looked terrified. "We'll find out when we explode." The tram hurtled out of the tunnel, the Inquisition gunship closing fast behind them, and up ahead loomed the titanic silhouette of a ruined manufactorum. Smoke, metal, fire. A place the Adeptus Mechanicus avoided. A place saturated with ancient tech and forgotten secrets. And Domino shouted, "Brace!" The tram launched off the broken rail. The gunship closed in. The world flipped upside down. And fate held its breath. The tram left the rails like a launched torpedo. Air screamed past shattered windows. Domino and Calith clung to anything bolted down, and the manufactorum loomed like a steel mountain ready to swallow them whole. Domino shouted over the wind, "Okay, universe, if you're gonna save us, this would be a great time." The tram spun, metal screamed, gravity inverted, the world went white. Then, crash. Domino groaned. She peeled herself off a pile of scrap metal and old cogitator casings, brushing off soot. Her ears rang, her ribs ached, her head spun. But she was alive, and not on fire. She whispered to herself, "All right, I'll give you that one. Nice work." Calith lay nearby, stunned but breathing. Her armour was scorched, her helmet cracked, but she pushed herself to her knees. "Domino, are you intact?" Domino flexed both hands. "Shockingly, yes. Physically, mentally, that's another story." She offered Calith a hand up. The sister took it, still trembling. You should not be alive." Domino smirked weakly. "Happens a lot." The ruin around them groaned, massive iron girders shifting in the settling dust. The crashed tram lay in flaming pieces, scattered across the floor like confetti in a demolition parade. Pipes hissed, sparks rained, runes flickered back to life despite centuries of decay. Calith made the sign of the Aquila. This place is cursed. Domino scanned the shadows. No, this place is old, older than the planet. A nearby machine spirit sputtered to life, its vocoder coughing like a dying smoker. Warning, unauthorized presence detected, machine god protocols failing. Domino shrugged. Yeah, add me to the list. Calith frowned. We must leave before the spirits awaken. Domino raised an eyebrow. Aren't those supposed to be metaphorical? Calith shook her head gravely. No. A massive hydraulic arm behind them twitched violently and slammed down where Domino had been standing a moment earlier. Domino sighed. Okay, literal. Very literal. They pressed deeper into the Manufactorum ruins, moving carefully over collapsed assembly lines and twisted catwalks. The glow from failing lumen strips flickered like dying candles. Calith whispered, Do you hear that? Domino did. Not footsteps, not gunfire, not machinery, a faint clicking, a rhythmic tapping. Deliberate, measured, like fingers drumming on metal. Domino froze. Calith, stay behind me. The sister nodded and raised her bolter, hands trembling. The tapping grew louder. Then a distorted, modulated voice echoed through the shadows. The one beyond probability finally arrives. Domino exhaled sharply. Nope, absolutely not. I am done with cryptic voices. Calith steadied her stance. Show yourself, fiend. A figure emerged from the darkness. Not Daemon, not sister, not Inquisitor. A humanoid silhouette wrapped in a cloak of metallic fibres. Eyes glowing amber through a cracked mask. Servos clicking with every movement. A splinter faction of the Adeptus Mechanicus, but not one Domino had seen before. Its voice rasped. Designation Nina Thurman, codenamed Domino, statistical aberration, entropy defier, fate breaker. Domino lifted a brow. You've been doing your homework. We have monitored your trajectory since your arrival. Every outcome around you collapses into an impossibility curve, a curiosity worth preserving or harvesting. Calith snarled. She is not a specimen. The figure's head tilted. That is subjective. Domino stepped protectively in front of Calith. Back off, toaster face. The masked figure raised one hand, and the machine spirits around them reacted. Panels unlocked, cables slithered like metallic serpents. A whole crane assembly turned toward Domino, whirring ominously. Calith gasped. They have command of the spirits. Domino cracked her knuckles. Yeah? Well, I've got plot armor. She whispered to her own luck. All right, friend. Time to earn your paycheck. The masked figure extended its arm. Do not resist. You cannot outrun mathematics. Domino grinned. Oh, buddy, you have no idea how much I can. The machine spirits attacked first. A chain snapped free, swinging like a whip. A conveyor line roared to life, spitting debris. A robotic arm lunged like a spear. Domino dodged, but not by skill alone. A loose gear rolled under her foot, spinning her sideways just enough to avoid the chain. A blast of steam erupted from a cracked pipe, blocking the robotic arm. A servo skull dropped from above, hitting the conveyor controls, sending the debris shower back toward the masked figure. The figure staggered under the barrage. Impossible, Domino winked. Get used to that word. As she ran deeper into the ruins, Domino felt something twist inside her chest. A twinge, a ripple, a flash of cold. Her breath hitched. Not physical harm, something else. Calith noticed immediately. Domino! What's wrong? Domino leaned against a collapsed pillar, panting. My powers, they're off. Calith stepped closer. You are hurt? No. Worse, I think something's messing with the probabilities around me. The masked figure approached again, limping but relentless. You bend fate. We calculate fate. The warp craves fate. You are an anomaly every power desires. Domino gritted her teeth. Yeah, well, tell those powers to get in line. Calith braced her bolter. What now? Domino's eyes narrowed as the ruins around them trembled with ancient life. Now we roll the dice. She stood, she cracked her neck, she faced the masked figure. Come on then, let's see which one of us fate hates more. The rogue Mechanicus figure advanced through the clattering ruins, its amber eyes flickering like dying embers behind the mask. Servos whined, cables writhed across the walls. The entire Manufactorum seemed to lean toward Domino, as if drawn to her like a magnet to a paradox. Calith stayed at Domino's side, bolter raised, voice trembling but steady. Domino, your luck feels different. Domino let out a short breath. It's not just luck, something's pulling on it, twisting it. The masked tech priest extended its hand again, voice like a broken vox speaker whispering code. I calculate one outcome. Your survival must be extracted, understood, controlled. Domino took a step back. Nope, sorry. Survival's my thing. Lease agreement's non-transferable. The Manufactorum erupted in movement. Servo arms crashed down like titanic iron claws. Conveyor belts roared awake, spitting gears like shrapnel. Chains snapped free and whipped across the room. A crane swung overhead with lethal speed. The masked figure raised both arms. Machine spirits screamed in binary, and ancient automated defences responded. Kelith fired her bolter, rounds sparking off machinery. Domino, move! A heavy assembly line piston slammed downward. Domino stumbled. Kelith grabbed her arm. Right then a loose gear rolled under Domino's heel. Her misstep threw them both left. The pistons smashed the ground where they had been standing, Kelith gasped. That was, Domino coughed, not divine intervention. Like luck. Always luck. Even when I don't want it. But the masking figure's interference bled into her luck field. This time, luck wasn't just helpful. It was chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous. Domino felt a vertigo roll through her chest. It was like her probability manipulation was glitching, reaching too far, causing random effects far beyond her normal in-my-favour sphere. A tension cable snapped, whipped around, and instead of striking Domino, it wrapped around a servo arm behind her. The servo arm malfunctioned, its logic core overloaded, and it began spinning its claw in a chaotic whirlwind of metal. Domino ducked. The whirlwind clipped a crane cable. The crane swung and smashed directly into the masked figure. The rogue tech priest was hurled across the arena in a shower of sparks and angry binary shrieks. Calith stared. That wasn't controlled, was it? Domino shook out her hands, unnerved. No, it wasn't. Domino steadied herself on a railing. Her pulse hammered. The air felt heavier, thicker, like something was pressing against her from all directions. Probability distortion rising, fate tension exceeding threshold, unstable outcome sequence imminent. These whispers crawled through her head. Were they real? Or was something thinking them at her? Calith touched her shoulder. Domino, you are pale. Domino swallowed hard. Someone is tugging on my strings. The air crackled with faint warp static. A shadow flickered at the edge of her vision. A presence. Watching. Waiting. The same demon she saw on the tram? Or something worse? The masked figure rose from the rubble. Cloak torn. Mask cracked. You are not mutation. You are divergence incarnate. The universe shutters around you. You must be retained. Before E.T. claims you. Domino's eyes widened. It? What the hell is it? The figure staggered, sparks bursting from exposed circuits. And why do you think you get me first? Because, the figure rasped, I am the only force here capable of resisting the warp creature that hunts your anomaly. The factory lights flickered. A low hum reverberated through the walls. Calith whispered, The daemon. It followed you. Domino clenched her fists. Oh good, another problem I didn't ask for. A bolt of warp energy tore open a rent in the air just as Domino leapt, but a collapsing girder blocked it. But the girder fell because a servo arm malfunctioned, and the malfunction happened because Domino kicked a loose gear 30 seconds ago. Domino landed hard, rolling behind a conveyor, breathless, shaky. My luck is pulling events out of sequence. I'm messing with time now. Calith's jaw tightened. That is very much not okay. You think? Domino shot back. The masked figure roared a Binharic command. Machine spirits screamed. The Manufactorum came alive with pure hostility. Conveyors spun at lethal speeds. Drills whirred and jabbed. Pipes ruptured into jets of scalding steam. Robotic arms struck like serpents. Domino and Calith dodged and weaved, but Domino's luck field warped everything. Calith slipped on falling soot, but a falling wrench blocked a drill jab. A piston misfired, but its recoil knocked over a crane that crushed a servo turret. A falling girder missed Domino by inches, only to slam into the masked enemy. Again. The tech priest wheezed. Statistical sacrilege. Domino dusted off a fleck of metal. I didn't do that. Well, maybe indirectly. Okay, yeah, it was me. A cold pulse tore through the air. The lights died, the machine spirits whimpered, and the warp shimmer, shaped like a person, returned, but clearer, stronger, more real. Calith aimed her bolter. Domino, it is here, the daemon whispered. The threads unwind, the games falter. She is mine. Domino stepped back. No, I am not. I don't belong to anyone. The daemon smiled without a face. Every probability flows to the warp, except you, impossible. Unacceptable, precious. The masked tech priest struck the ground with his staff. Back! She is not for you, Domino blinked. Wait, are you actually protecting me right now? The figure glitched. For preservation, for study, not altruism, Domino groaned. Ah! And here I was starting to like you. The warp presence destabilized everything. Probability, machinery, gravity. Cracks tore open in the floor. Cranes toppled. Runes exploded. Hanging catwalks buckled. The daemon's voice pulsed. Fate bends. Chance breaks. All threads lead to me. Domino grabbed Calith's arm. Time to move, now. They sprinted deeper into the factory as the entire structure fell apart behind them, luck swinging wildly between life-saving and catastrophic. The masked tech priest staggered after them. Do not leave. Your anomaly will spiral, cause further collapse. Domino snapped back. So help me if you keep calling me an anomaly. The daemon shrieked and surged forward. The Manufactorum cracked like a splitting tomb. Domino ran like her life depended on fate itself. Because it did. The Manufactorum's lowest level was a cavern of twisted steel and fire, a hollowed-out heart of a dead industry. Great vats hissed with molten metal. Broken assembly lines dangled like rusted skeletons. The floor shook with every collapsing support beam, and at its centre a massive circular dais, once a control node, now half buried in rubble and dripping with warp residue. Domino, Calith, and the damaged tech priest stumbled into the chamber as the ceiling cracked apart above them. Domino coughed through the smoke. Okay, this looks like a place you definitely shouldn't do anything important. Calith steadied her bolter. Then fate brought us here for a reason. Domino groaned. Please stop narrating my trauma. A warp tear split open in the centre of the dice. Not large, not stable, but enough. Enough for something terrible to step through. Not flesh, not shadow. Something like a concept wearing a body it didn't fully understand. It flickered between shapes. Human, machine, smoke, fire, a shifting silhouette of probability gone feral. Its voice echoed like 1,000 whispered dice rolls. Nina Thurman, the contradiction, born of order, thriving in chaos, untouchable, unless touched by me. Domino stepped back, clenching her fists. Oh no, we are not doing the claim the chosen one speech. The daemon leaned closer, its form glitching. Your luck bends the skein of fate. You are a hole in destiny, a feast of broken possibility. Calith held her ground, whispering prayers. The daemon stretched its hand toward Domino. Reality bent around its fingers like soft wax. And suddenly Domino felt her lungs seize, as if the air itself forgot how to reach her. She collapsed to one knee. Calith! The rogue Mechanicus priest planted its staff into the ground. Warp lightning blasted across the dice, but Domino realized the priest wasn't attacking the daemon. It was attacking her. A latticed data field snapped around Domino. Calith lunged forward. No! But it was too late. The field locked into place. The tech priest wheezed, sparks leaking from its mask. I must isolate her probability field before the daemon devours it, devours everything. Domino gasped through gritted teeth. Tell me, you are not helping! You cannot face it while reality bends incorrectly. I must stabilize your anomaly. Domino thrashed weakly against the tightening lattice. Stop calling me that! The daemon laughed. She cannot be isolated. She is change. She is mine. Domino's vision blurred, probability warped. Everything around her shimmered like she was seeing dozens of possible outcomes all at once. Caliph dying, Caliph surviving, the daemon devouring the priest, the manufactorum collapsing, Domino dying. Domino escaping, Domino exploding, Domino laughing, Domino not existing. And then all the possible futures snapped back into focus. Her nose bled, her breath steadied, and something inside her clicked. Her luck field didn't stabilize, it evolved. The lattice shattered around her, blown apart by a surge of probability so sharp it left scorch marks in reality. Caliph stumbled back. Domino, what have you done? Domino rose to her feet, eyes glowing faintly with a pale, shimmering light. She flexed her fingers. I think my luck just got promoted, without my permission. The daemon screeched with delight. Yes! Yes! Feed the paradox! Let it bloom! Domino glared. Back off, I'm not blooming for anyone. The daemon lunged, a blur of warp static, but Domino wasn't there. She didn't dodge. She simply wasn't where the daemon expected her to be. The warp swipe tore through empty air. Caliph fired her bolter. The shot ricocheted off 3 pieces of falling debris, then buried itself in the daemon's flickering torso. It shrieked. Domino pointed at Caliph. That wasn't me. Caliph blinked. I did not aim at that. The daemon surged forward again. Domino sidestepped instinctively, her foot landing on a broken servo skull, which skidded across the floor, tangled in the daemon's semi-solid leg, and sent it tumbling into a collapsed crane. The crane collapsed harder. Domino winced. Oof, sorry. The rogue tech priest jabbed its staff forward again. Machine spirits, obey! But the machine spirits weren't obeying him. They were obeying Domino for the first time because her luck flux spilled over into them. A conveyor belt activated, a turbine spun, a mechanical arm seized the daemon's shoulder. Chains wrapped it like restraints. Caliph gasped. The machines, they're responding to you. Domino blinked. I didn't ask them to. They're like cats. Deeply unpredictable cats made of steel. The daemon tore free, shrieking. You cannot hide behind toys and accidents. You are mine. Domino picked up a bent wrench. Yeah? Catch. She tossed it weakly. The wrench bounced off the floor, ricocheted off a pipe, slammed into a control panel, triggered a flood of molten slag pouring from an overhead smelter. Right onto the daemon, Calith's jaw dropped. Domino shrugged. Beginner's luck. The molten slag evaporated. Warp fire burned through the smelter vats. The daemon rose unstable and glitching. Impossible! You defy outcome after outcome. It focused entirely on Domino now. A psychic pressure crushed the chamber. Caliph collapsed to one knee. The tech priest's mask cracked further. Domino's bones felt like they were vibrating. The daemon whispered, and I want to taste the one outcome you cannot escape. Domino clenched her fists. What, death? No, surrender. For the first time that day, Domino's smile faltered, and her luck flickered. The daemon's presence pressed down like a collapsing star. The ruins groaned, molten metal hissed. The very air resisted movement. Domino staggered backward, breath shallow, pulse hammering. Her luck, normally a constant subconscious trickle, felt like a storm trying to turn itself inside out. It came in violent bursts. It flickered, it surged, it stung. Caliph crawled toward her, armor scraping over broken metal. Domino! Stay with me! The daemon's form blurred and reformed, half solid, half concept, its voice dragging across reality like a knife across glass. Surrender. I do not want your death. Death ends the game. I want your obedience. Your anomaly is the most exquisite flavor. Domino coughed a bitter laugh. Sorry, buddy, I don't do obedience. Ask my ninth grade math teacher. Her hands trembled. Her vision flickered between 4 potential futures at once, none of them stable, none of them safe. The daemon leaned closer. Your power bends probability, but I bend meaning. I will make you want to serve. Domino's pulse spiked. Her breath hitched. Her luck sputtered. For the first time, she felt the edges of panic claw at her. The warp shimmered around the daemon's hand as it touched Domino's forehead. Domino gasped. A flood of images hit her like a psychic torpedo. She saw a future where Calith died protecting her. A sisterhood was purged because of her. Innocent workers died in collapsing tunnels. The tech priest was dissected. The Inquisition burned entire districts trying to catch her. Planets fell. The warp took her anyway. Everyone who stood near her suffered for accidents she caused. Everything she touched twisted, snapped, or was consumed by chaos. Domino screamed, clutching her head. No, that's not. The daemon whispered, you do not bend chance for good. You corrupt it. You kill without trying. Your luck is a curse wearing a grin. Domino's knees buckled. Calith shouted through tears, Domino, don't listen! This is trickery! Domino choked on her own breath. What if it's true? Her voice cracked. What if every time I got lucky, someone else paid for it? The daemon smiled with shifting teeth. Yes, that is your truth. Serve me and I will give your curse meaning. Domino's hands went limp at her sides. Her head bowed. The daemon reached out, claws humming with warp light. Calith forced herself upright, tears streaming, bolter trembling in her hands. Domino. Her voice broke. You are not a curse. Domino didn't lift her head. I've caused so much damage. People around me get hurt. You saw it, you know. Calith stepped closer. No, they get hurt because the Imperium is cruel, because the Inquisition hunts what it fears. You survived, and in doing so, you let me survive. She lowered her bolter. She placed her hand on Domino's cheek. Warm, steady. Your luck is not a sin. It is a shield. For you, for me, for anyone you choose. Domino's breath hitched. Her knees wobbled. Calith whispered, you choose us. Not the warp. The daemon froze. For a split second. Its form destabilized. Unacceptable. Connection warps probability further. Affection alters outcomes. Domino blinked. Her pupils tightened. Her luck field, which had been chaotic, flickering, predatory, recentered around her like a pulse around her, like a pulse of white fire. The daemon Domino stood, slow but rising. Her eyes shimmered with the faint glow of 100 collapsing probabilities. You stupid bastard. The daemon hissed. What are you? You think I'm scared of hurting people? I've lived my whole life trying not to. The light from her luck field grew. Bright, violent, focused. But I'll be damned if I let you decide what I'm allowed to be. Calith stepped behind her, a hand on her shoulder. The daemon screamed, Stop! You are breaking the game! Domino smirked. That's kind of my thing. The air burst with probability shockwaves. Pipes snapped. Molten metal exploded upward like a geyser. A crane swung a full circle on a broken axle. The dice cracked into 5 perfect segments. Gravity inverted for a split second. A pile of steel beams rearranged itself into a spiral ramp. A flood of coolant steam erupted but conveniently missed both Domino and Calith. And the daemon. The daemon screamed as the warp recoiled. Domino's probability field exploded in a corona of shimmering light. She shouted, Hey, warp blob! Here's my fate! Try to predict this! The probability spike hit the daemon like a conceptual sledgehammer. It tore its form apart, unravelling it into mist and frayed symbols of impossible math. Its scream faded into static, then silence. The warp tear snapped shut. The chamber fell still. Domino collapsed to her knees, panting, shaking, alive. Calith knelt beside her immediately. Domino, talk to me. Domino looked up slowly. Still here. Calith sobbed in relief. The tech priest's voice crackled from a few meters away. Statistical aberration neutralized. Warp interference receding. You should not exist. Domino flipped him off without looking. Join the club. The manufactorum was dying. The floor split in jagged fractures. Smoke belched from ruptured pipes. Molten metal spilled through cracks like demonic rivers. Domino pushed herself up on shaky legs as alarms wailed in a dozen machine voices. Calith supported her, half carrying, half guiding. "Domino, please stay conscious!" Domino groaned. "No promises. Reality's real. Wobbly right now." The rogue tech priest staggered after them, sparks dripping from its exposed wiring. "You must leave, Anomaly. This structure will collapse within 170 seconds. Domino rolled her eyes. "Great, thanks for the countdown, Siri." The priest tilted its ruined head. "Siri? Never mind." A thunderous explosion ripped through a far wall. Through the smoke marched the black-armoured stormtroopers of the Inquisition. Dozens, hellguns hot, shields glowing, eyes dead, and at their head, Inquisitor Malia Vaughn. Her psychic hood crackled like a halo of burning glass. Her armour bore scorch marks from the Manufactorum's wrath. Her expression was a mask of holy rage. "Nina Thurman," Vaughn bellowed. "You will not escape sanction." Domino blinked. "God, you're like a recurring boss fight." Vaughn pointed her crackling gauntlet. "Stormtroopers, shoot the mutant. Sisters, seize the traitor." Calith stepped forward immediately. "No, she is under my shield," Vaughn snarled. "Sister Calith of the Argent Veil, you will be purged for blasphemy." Calith trembled but didn't move. "She saved me. I save her." Hellgun fire ripped through the air. Calith pushed Domino behind a fallen beam. The blasts hit her armour instead. Sparks exploded. She cried out. Her helm shattered. Domino grabbed her. "Calith, don't you dare die!" Calith grinned through the pain. "As you said." "I'm pretty sure it'll work out somehow." Domino felt panic spike up her spine. "No, stop saying my lines. They're cursed." Vaughn strode forward through the smoke. "Your interference ends here." She raised a psychic blade, power swirling. Warp fire screamed. Domino tensed. Her luck surged, then sputtered. The warp interference had shaken it. Her power didn't activate fast enough. Her vision blurred. "No, don't, not now!" Calith tried to stand. "Calith, stay down!" She didn't. She stepped into the attack. The psychic blade struck her chest plate and exploded in a storm of blue flame. Calith flew backward. Domino's scream tore her throat raw. "Kaish!" Something snapped in Domino, her control, her fear, her limits. Her luck field detonated outward in a shockwave of impossible math. The entire world flickered. Stormtroopers slipped on perfectly flat ground. Vaughn's psychic hood overloaded. The floor cracked open beneath two squads. A massive gantry collapsed away from Domino, but directly onto a gunship landing pad outside. A last bolt ricocheted 32 times and extinguished a promethium fire. Domino's eyes blazed white. "I am done with all of you." She wasn't yelling in fear, she was yelling in certainty. Her luck surged again, but this time Domino felt something else riding on the edges. A cold whisper. Warp static. "We are not finished, Fatebreaker," Domino gasped, clutching her skull. "Get out! I told you, you don't get a say!" The daemon's presence pulled, but Domino pushed harder. Her own strength, her own fear, her own stubborn, ridiculous defiance. The warp hissed and recoiled. Domino ran to Calith, skidding across metal. Calith coughed, soot billowing. "Domino? Are you okay?" Domino grabbed her face. "Am I okay?" "You were a glowing shish kebab," Calith smiled weakly. "Your shield works both ways." Domino shook her head fiercely. "Calith, don't ever do that again, you hear me?" "That's not your job," Calith whispered. "It is my choice." Domino froze, and for a moment, just a breath, her luck stabilized. The pain in her chest eased. She helped Calith up. The Manufactorum groaned violently. Debris crashed down in a deadly rain. The tech priest shouted, "Structural failure critical. You must depart now." Domino nodded. She looped Calith's arm over her shoulder. "Come on, sister, we're getting out of here!" Vaughn screamed, "After them! Kill the witch! Seize the heretic!" The stormtroopers charged, everything fell apart. A final tremor ripped through the facility, and with a thunderous crack, a loading bay door collapsed outward, revealing a sloped wreck tunnel leading out to the ashen sunrise over the wasteland. Domino stared. Luck, sometimes I love you. Fiery debris rained behind her. Vaughn roared in psychic fury. Calith leaned against her, weak but determined. The tech priest staggered after them, chanting corrupted litanies. Domino steeled herself. "This is it. We're running. We're living. We're not dying in this discount steel coffin." She took a breath and sprinted for the exit. They burst out of the collapsing Marvaterium tunnel like bullets fired from a dying world. Domino hauled Calith over one shoulder. The sister was tough, armoured and stubborn as granite, but she was wounded, scorched and barely staying conscious. Behind them, black smoke belched upward as the entire facility caved in on itself. Domino didn't look back. She'd learned long ago that looking back just meant seeing things you'd regret not being able to fix. She muttered under her breath, "One step at a time, Nina. One disaster at a time." Calith rasped, "This does not qualify as disaster. We survived. It is a blessing." Domino snorted. "Kid, I just saw molten metal try to eat me. You're allowed to call it a disaster." The world outside was a grey ocean of cracked earth, shattered roads, broken aqueducts, jagged ruins, and kilometre-long shadowed pipes half buried in ash. The sky above was stained orange with pollution. Dust storms wandered lazily like bored predators. Calith looked around in awe. "I have never left the sanctum walls." Domino nodded. "Yeah, this is what the Imperium keeps hidden behind cathedral wallpaper." The wind howled. Something shrieked in the far distance, either metal or animal. Hard to tell here. Domino staggered forward, searching for higher ground. "We keep moving. Elevation means visibility. Visibility means options." She didn't say the last part aloud. Visibility also means someone sees you first. And her luck wasn't exactly subtle. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn stood atop a collapsed ruin at the Marvaterium's edge, surveying the wasteland through a cracked psychic hood. Stormtroopers knelt behind her. Sororitas squads took formation. Her voice was death dipped in steel. "Deploy containment sweep. Pattern relentless." A stormtrooper hesitated. "My lady, the Marvaterium collapse destabilized our sensors. We can't acquire her trajectory." Vaughn did not even turn as she raised her hand and fired a bolt of psychic lightning into the trooper's skull. He dropped like a puppet with its strings cut. Vaughn hissed, "Find her. I don't care if you have to burn half the wasteland." Another trooper whispered, "But her luck, Vaughn snarled, "is an affront to the Emperor's design." A Sororitas squad fanned out behind her. And the canoness of the Argent Veil watched silently. She alone did not move. Her eyes were fixed on the wasteland, whispering, "Emperor, show me which of these two women speaks your truth." Domino found a ridge of broken ferrocrete and guided Calith to rest beneath its shade. "All right, let's take a second. Don't die. I don't have a medical degree." Calith smiled faintly. "You have more faith in me than I do." Domino frowned. "Yeah, well, you earned it." Calith reached up, touching Domino's cheek. "You faced the warp, and you did not kneel. I have seen seasoned sisters falter at less." Domino brushed her hair back. "Don't romanticize me, Calith. I got lucky." Calith chuckled, then winced. "Your luck saved my life." Domino looked at the cracked ground. "Yeah, and almost got you killed too." Calith's expression softened. "Every life has risk. Every step on Holy Terror is a risk. You give us choices, not chains." Domino wasn't sure what to say to that. A shadow passed overhead. Domino stiffened. "Down. Now." She pulled Calith under a slab of collapsed roadway. A gunship screeched across the wasteland. But something was off. It wasn't a normal gunship. The hull was studded with runic wards. Its engines burned cold, its cannons hummed with probability distortion dampeners. The Mechanicus insignia and the Inquisition eye glowed side by side. Domino whispered, "Oh no." Calith gripped her arm. "What is it?" Domino swallowed. "They brought the one thing that messes with me." The gunship banked in a wide curve. Below its belly unfolded a spherical cage of shimmering runes. A tech officer announced through Vox, "Deploying anti-probability weapon, Project Nullwake." Domino felt her stomach drop. "They built something? Just to counter me?" Calith's eyes widened. "They fear you. Deeply." Domino shook her head. "No, they fear what I represent, someone they can't script." A pulse rippled across the wasteland. Domino felt it like a punch to the lungs. Her luck field collapsed. For the first time since arriving in this universe, her power went silent. Dead. A cold void where instinct once whispered. Domino gasped and dropped to her knees. Calith seized her shoulders. "Domino! What's wrong?" Domino's breath came sharp and panicked. I can't feel it. My luck, it's gone. It's gone." She clutched her chest. "This isn't right. I feel exposed, blind. It's like a part of me got ripped out." Calith looked up at the null field shimmering in the sky. "They are suppressing you." Domino stared at her trembling hands. "We need to move. Now!" Calith nodded. "I will help you." Domino forced her legs under her. Without luck, it hurt. Every step felt like walking without skin. She whispered, "This is bad. Very bad." The anti-probability weapon hummed. A beam of cold light shot down. It didn't destroy. It didn't burn. It locked fate around whatever it touched. They had fired at Domino, and her luck wasn't there to misdirect it. Calith pushed her with all her strength. Domino tumbled behind a broken pillar. The beam struck Calith's exposed arm and froze, literally froze. A lattice of impossible geometry locked her gauntlet in place, trapping her limb in perfect stillness. Calith screamed, "Ah!" Domino crawled over. "Calith!" "Oh God!" Calith grit her teeth. "It cannot be removed. It is binding. My choices." Domino's eyes burned. "That's it." She stood, still unsteady, still weak, still without luck, but furious. She glared at the hovering gunship. "You want a fight? Fine. Let's see how you do when I'm pissed off." The Nullwake sphere pulsed overhead, rippling across the wasteland like a cold second sun. Domino felt exposed in a way she had never felt before. No invisible nudges, no subconscious corrections, no gentle probability currents guiding her motion. Just silence, raw mortal silence. Calith knelt beside her, one arm frozen in a lattice of shimmering anti-probability geometry. The crystalline structure crawled like frost across the gauntlet, locking it to the cracked earth. "Domino," she gasped, breath strained. "Do not risk yourself, please." Domino's jaw clenched. "You don't get to ask me not to risk myself after the psychic shish kebab stunt." Calith almost laughed, but pain stole the sound. Domino grabbed the frozen gauntlet. "Hold still. I'm going to break this." Calith's eyes widened. "You cannot. It binds more than matter. It binds outcome." Domino bared her teeth. "Then I'm going to punch fate in the face." She struck the lattice with a piece of jagged ferrocrete. It bounced off harmlessly. She struck again. Nothing. A third time. A hairline crack appeared. Calith gasped. Domino blinked. "Okay, good. I can work with that." Then a cold voice boomed across the wasteland. "Mutant located. Fire at will." Inquisition gunship squads spread out in formation, one above, two flanking, a fourth descending behind her. The anti-probability field hummed louder. Domino's stomach flipped. Without her luck, she couldn't rely on bullets missing. She couldn't assume debris would fall conveniently. She couldn't expect sudden miracles. Today, she had to survive the old-fashioned way. Skill, instinct, fear, fury, and sheer stupid defiance. A squad rushed forward, las hellguns raised. Target sighted, locking fate vector. Domino whispered, "Oh, shut up with your math cult jargon." She grabbed a chunk of rebar and hurled it like a spear. The first trooper took it in the throat. The second ducked. Domino lunged forward and slammed her knee into his visor, shattering the lens. The third fired. Domino rolled behind a shattered aqueduct pillar. Without luck, the blast singed her shoulder. She hissed. That would have missed me 5 minutes ago. Calith, frozen arm dragging, managed to lift her bolter one-handed. She fired. The recoil nearly toppled her, but the round punched through a stormtrooper's chest. Domino shouted, "Calith, stay down! Your arm! I am a sister of battle. One arm is more than enough to defend you." Domino's throat tightened. "That's not your job." Calith gave a weak smile. "It is my choice." Domino's breath caught. "Damn it, I hate when you're brave." A beam of anti-probability fired from the hovering gunship. Domino shoved Calith aside. The beam carved into the ground exactly where Calith had been. The lattice crawled outward, seeking something to bind. Domino snarled. "Nope!" She grabbed the frozen arm and yanked hard. Pain tore through Calith. "Ah!" A chunk of the null lattice cracked loose. Domino held it up, panting. "Looks like I can break fate after all." Calith stared in awe. "Domino, that is impossible." Domino tossed the crystalline shard aside. "Yeah, add it to the list." The largest gunship landed, the hatch slammed open. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn strode out like a storm-given flesh. Her psychic hood flickered with suppressed rage. Her gauntlet crackled with warp lightning. Her inquisitorial seal gleamed like a hanging sentence. Her voice shook the dust. "Nina Thurman, this is your final warning." Domino stepped forward, chest heaving. She was tired, weak, bleeding, but still standing. "You don't give me warnings. You give me trauma." Vaughn pointed her psychic blade. "You corrupt chance, twist fate, warp reality. You will be restrained or destroyed." Domino spat blood. "Lady, I'm not twisting anything. I just get lucky." Vaughn's eyes burned. "You lie. Your corruption nearly tore open a warp breach." Domino froze. "I didn't mean to. Intent is irrelevant. Only outcome matters." Domino's brent cold. That was the Imperium in a sentence. The canoness of the Argent Veil marched across the wasteland, banners whipping in the storm. Half her order followed her, the other half followed Vaughn, a schism drawn in armour and faith. The canoness raised her voice. "Inquisitor, this woman is under my protection." Vaughn snarled. "You overreach, canoness. This creature is an abomination." Calith called out, voice cracking. "She is not an abomination. She protects those beside her. She spared me. She saved me." The canoness hesitated, then nodded once. "Sister Calith speaks truth." Vaughn's temper finally snapped. "Then you'll burn with her!" The stormtroopers aimed. The sisters aimed. The air trembled. Domino looked at the standoff around her. Hundreds of guns pointed. 2 holy orders on the brink of civil war. A superweapon above humming her death sentence. Her heart hammered. She whispered to herself, "Luck or no luck, I'm not letting anyone die because of me." She stepped forward, hands raised. "Stop!" Everyone froze, even Vaughn. Domino shouted, "This ends with me, not them, not her, not the sisters, me." Vaughn lowered her blade fractionally. "Then kneel, surrender to Imperial judgment." Domino stared at her. For one moment, one insane moment, Domino Thurman considered kneeling. Calith gasped. "No." "Domino, no." Domino whispered back. "If it keeps you alive, maybe I should." Calith shook her head fiercely. "You do not kneel. Not to her, not to the warp, not to me. You walk your own path." Domino's chest tightened. Those words hit deeper than any wound. She turned back to Vaughn. "Yeah, now that I think about it, you can go to hell." Vaughn's expression became pure hatred. Fire. Stormtroopers pulled their triggers. Sisters cried out. The null-wake weapon charged again, and with no luck, Domino was dead. The gunfire erupted in a thunderous wave. Las rounds, bolts, psychic lightning, null-wake pulses. Enough to atomize an armoured column. Domino stood in the centre of the wasteland with no luck, no probability bend, no cosmic cushion, just bare mortality. She whispered, "Well, guess this is it." The beams crossed the space toward her, a lattice of death tightening around the one person the Imperium could not predict. Domino closed her eyes. "Sorry, Calith." A single heartbeat passed, then 2, then 3, and Domino realised she wasn't dead. When she opened her eyes, she saw one thing. Calith. The young sister stood in front of Domino, her one free arm raised, her posture broken and trembling, but unyielding. The shots that should have killed Domino hit Calith's shattered armour, bolts tore through plating, las rounds burned through ceramite, the null-wake lattice, clawing for a target, latched onto Calith's frozen gauntlet and spread across her body like a crystalline infection, but she didn't fall, she stayed upright. Her voice was a whisper, "You are not dying today." Domino screamed, "Calith! No, no, no! Please, stop!" Calith's body shook violently as the null geometry locked deeper into her nerves. Her breath hitched in pain, but she turned her head just enough to look back. Her eyes soft, her expression serene. "Domino, you gave me a choice. This is mine." Domino grabbed her shoulders, voice frantic. "Calith, I can't lose you. I don't deserve this." Calith smiled faintly. "You don't choose what you deserve. You choose what you protect." Then she collapsed. Domino caught her before she hit the ground. "No! No, 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 no! Calith, stay with me!" Calith rasped. "You said everything works out somehow." Domino sobbed. "That was optimism, not a damn prophecy." Calith touched Domino's cheek with her last strength. "You made me believe in something bigger than fear." Her hand fell, she went still. Domino's scream tore across the wasteland like a shattering star. All guns lowered. Stormtroopers froze mid-step. The sisters on both sides stopped breathing. Even the wind seemed to halt. Because they all felt it. A pulse, a quake, a shift. The null-wake sphere flickered, just for a second. Enough for something to slip through. Enough for a single spark of probability to return. Enough for a whisper in Domino's ear. "You break beautifully." Domino's tears dried instantly. Her pupils constricted, her breath slowed, and the air around her twisted. Her luck wasn't returning. Something else was. Not luck, not warp, not miracle. Something like a third path. A hybrid of probability and will. A refusal so strong reality trembled. Domino rose to her feet. Calith's body cradled in her arms. She looked at Vaughn, not with fear, not with anger, with certainty. "You took the wrong person from me." Vaughn stepped back a fraction. "Witch." Domino cut her off. "No, not witch, not mutant, not weapon." She set Calith's body gently on the ground. Her eyes glowed with a cold, unwavering light. "I am the woman who makes fate blink." The Inquisition opened fire again. Domino didn't dodge. She walked straight through the storm. Fire, las bolts, shrapnel, psychic blasts, null-wake static. Everything carved the air around her. Nothing struck her, not because luck saved her, but because she refused to let them. Her probability field wasn't bending outcomes, it was overriding them. A blast of raw psychic lightning surged toward her and fizzled to smoke a meter away. A bolt round should have torn through her heart and instead ricocheted straight upward, detonating harmlessly in the sky. Even the null-wake beam locked fate around her, and fate cracked under the pressure of her defiance. Stormtroopers panicked. "Impossible! She's overriding the null-wake!" "Retreat! Retreat!" Vaughn shrieked. "Stand and shoot!" But her voice cracked because she felt it too. Domino approached her, step by inevitable step. Vaughn raised her psychic blade. "You cannot be what you claim. You are warp-tainted, fate-twisted, unnatural." Domino held up one hand. The blade shattered instantly. Vaughn dropped to her knees. "What are you?" Domino looked down at her through tears she refused to shed. What she said next was not arrogant, not triumphant, just true. "I'm the worst possible enemy for people who think they're inevitable." Vaughn trembled. "The Emperor will damn you!" Domino shook her head. "No, the Emperor gave Calith a choice. You took it away." Vaughn opened her mouth to speak. Domino turned away from her. She wasn't worth killing. She wasn't even worth finishing the sentence. The Canoness slowly approached Domino. Her voice cracked. "You carry her still?" Domino nodded, holding Calith's limp form tighter against her chest. She didn't deserve this. The canoness bowed her head. She died as a sister of battle, but lived long enough to choose more. Domino didn't respond. The canoness whispered, "What will you do now?" Domino looked out over the wasteland. Her voice was hollow. "Run, fight, survive." Her next words made the canoness inhale sharply. "And make sure no one else dies because of me." The canoness whispered, "Calith believed in you." Domino's jaw trembled. "She shouldn't have." "She did." Domino swallowed. "Then I'll honour her." She turned away. The canoness did not stop her. Half the sisterhood stepped back, weapons lowered. The other half knelt beside Calith. Mourning, Vaughn watched in silent fury. The world held its breath. Domino, holding the body of the only friend she'd made in this nightmare universe, began walking toward the horizon. Alone. Ash blew across the wasteland in long grey ribbons as Domino walked into the dying sunrise, Calith's body cradled gently in her arms. The wind keened. The world seemed to dim. And behind her the Imperium struggled to understand how a single woman had just broken an Inquisitor's certainty, shattered a sisterhood's unity, and survived the deployment of a weapon designed to erase probability itself. They had no category for what she had become, so they made one. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn knelt in the dirt, clutching the fragments of her shattered psychic blade. Her stormtroopers stood at a terrified distance. None dared speak, none dared approach. The air around her shimmered with suppressed psychic rage. She whispered. She walked through Nullwake, untouched. A stormtrooper swallowed hard. "My lady, shall we pursue?" Vaughn rose slowly, her expression a mask carved from hatred and humiliation. "Pursue? No." She turned toward the wasteland, eyes narrowing. "We hunt." Her voice trembled with fury. "She broke my sanction. She broke the sisters' unity. She broke the Emperor's ordained probability." Her gauntlet cracked as she clenched her fist, "And so I will break her." Far behind, the canoness knelt beside Calith's still body. She brushed ash from her cheeks. Her sisters, those who refused Vaughn's madness, formed a silent vigil around her. One whispered, "Canoness!" "What is she now?" The canoness looked toward Domino's fading silhouette. "Something we were not taught to understand." Another voice spoke, hesitant. "Should we capture her?" The canoness closed her eyes. "No." She rose. "She saved a sister. She spared the Imperium's fools. She refused surrender, and she grieves." She looked at her warriors. "If that is heresy, then I must question the scriptures." The vigil fell silent, because that was the closest anyone had ever heard to a canoness questioning doctrine. And in the Imperium, such moments were earthquakes. The surviving tech priest, limping, half-sparking, exposed circuitry twitching, recorded his findings in a corrupted data slate. Status unmeasured. Observed traits, probability override, warp resonance immunity spike, null-wake aversion failure, emotional triggered fate distortion. Machine conclusion, she is neither psyker nor a human, not mutant, not daemon. Classification, error. He vented static, perhaps his equivalent of a sigh. No imperial schema accommodates her. Recommend containment impossible. Only viable protocol. Do not attempt pursuit alone. His final note, she frightens the warp, and the warp frightens me. Domino dug with her bare hands. The earth was hard, dry, unyielding, just like the Imperium. Her fingers bled, her muscles burned. She whispered through clenched teeth, "You deserved better, kid." Calith lay wrapped in her tattered cloak, face peaceful, armour cracked and burned. Her rosary chain rested in her hands. Domino set her carefully into the shallow grave. The wasteland wind blew dust over them. Domino knelt. "I don't know how your Emperor judges souls, but if he's watching..." "He saw what you did," her voice cracked. "And if he lets anyone into the good afterlife, it's you." She pressed her forehead to the ground, then stood, and forced herself to turn her back, because staying would kill her, because grieving too long would break her, because Calith had made a choice, and Domino would honour it by living. As she walked alone across the wasteland, something strange began to happen. Refugees whispered when they saw her. She walked through fire. She didn't die when the Inquisition shot her. She carried a sister's body like it weighed nothing. She didn't leave footprints in the ash. Stories spread faster than truth. The Imperium called her the anomaly, the probability witch, the fated heresy. The common folk called her the white-fated ghost. A wandering woman who defied death, who protected the weak, who left catastrophe in her wake, but somehow saved those near her. A myth was forming. And myths in the 41st millennium are dangerous things. As Domino crossed into the ruined outskirts of a forgotten hive suburb, the air shivered. Warp static flickered at the edges of her vision. Domino stopped. "Don't you dare," a voice responded, soft and hungry. "You grew stronger from pain. We tasted it. We liked it." Domino's lip curled. "Back off. I'm not food. Not food. Not tool. A riddle. A paradox. Delicious disruption." Domino clenched her fists. She still couldn't fully access her luck, not while the null-wake residue clung to her nerves. But she had her will and her fury, and the memory of Calith dying in her arms. Domino growled, "You want me? Come and get me. I'm done running." The warp shimmered like a curtain pulled back, then dissipated, not defeated, but watching, hungry, waiting. As night fell over the wasteland, Domino found shelter in the ruins of an old hab block. She pulled her knees to her chest. The stars were faint above the pollution haze. Domino whispered to the empty sky, "I'm not letting you take anyone else from me. Not the Inquisition, not the warp, not fate." Her eyes hardened. "If I've got to walk this nightmare alone, fine." She pulled a scavenged cloak around her shoulders, "but I walk it on my terms." Far away, gunships roared into the night. Sisterhood orders split further. Mechanicus teams deployed trackers, and the Inquisition issued a new decree. "Nina Thurman, kill on sight." Domino breathed out slowly. "Good." She stood. "It means they're scared." And she vanished into the wasteland shadows, becoming the ghost they feared. The wasteland stretched endless under a sky choked with ash. Domino moved like a phantom, silent, focused, driven. Her luck still felt fractured, flickers of probability returning in disjointed pulses. But she refused to rely on it. Not after Calith. Not after seeing what luck cost someone else. She learned to fight without it, to evade without it, to survive without expecting the universe to bend. And ironically, that made her even harder to catch. Inquisitor Malia Vaughn watched a hololithic display inside her gunship, teeth clenched tight enough to crack porcelain. Domino's sightings pulsed across the map, everywhere. Too many for a single human, too many for any patrol pattern. Vaughn snarled, "Deploy Project Counterflux." The stormtroopers shifted uneasily. "Lady Inquisitor, Counterflux is not fully tested." Use 8. Counterflux was an experimental kill team unit designed specifically to combat probability manipulators based on the ruins of Mechanicus research. Each trooper wore reverse luck talismans, fate-dampening generators, null-wake residue canisters, and a prototype quantum paradox net. Their goal, neutralize Domino's probability field on contact. Their survival rate expectation, 11%. But no one denied Vaughn. While Vaughn sharpened her hunt, the common folk whispered, "Did you hear? The white-fated ghost saved an entire caravan from mutants." "I saw her. She caught a falling roof beam with one hand." No, she walked into a collapsing shrine and came out with 3 children. She stole food from an Arbites barracks and gave it to hive urchins. She kills Inquisitors. This last rumour wasn't true, yet Vaughn flinched every time she heard it. The Sisters of the Argent Veil had their own whispers. She avenged Calith. She walks a path the Emperor may have laid. She is hunted because she reflects the Imperium's cruelty. She must survive. A schism deepened, quietly, dangerously. She crouched in the rusted metal ribs of an abandoned grain silo, scanning the horizon. Her luck flickered. The world stuttered, just for a moment. Domino froze. No, not again. Her vision split into 3 possible futures, then snapped back. She clutched her head. These visions weren't like the Warp Daemon's assault. They weren't forced. They were instinctive, predictive, like her ability was learning a new trick. She whispered, "Okay, that's either useful or horrifying. Probably both." The silo creaked. Someone was coming. Domino tensed. Then a terrified teenage boy stumbled inside. He looked half-starved, clothes ragged, eyes wide. He froze when he saw her. You're her. The ghost." Domino raised her hands. "Kid, ghosts don't get shot at daily. You okay?" He shook his head violently. The counterflux team is coming. They killed my father for letting you pass. They're hunting you right now." Domino sighed. "Of course they are." The boy trembled. They said they have a net that traps your soul." Domino blinked. "A net for my soul? Great, they're inventing new stupid." She stood. "Kid, you need to run. Stay low. Don't look at anything shiny or floating." The boy swallowed. "What are you going to do?" Domino cracked her knuckles. "Greet the welcoming committee." Domino stood in the open, dust swirling around her ankles. 12 armoured operatives fanned out in a circle, helms glowing with anti-probability runes. Their leader stepped forward. "Nina Thurman, surrender your existence. Non-compliance will result in paradox extraction." Domino rolled her eyes. "That sounds made up." "It is not. It definitely is." The trooper lifted the quantum paradox net generator. A swirling vortex of reality distortion coalesced between its prongs. Domino's skin crawled. That thing felt like a vacuum cleaner pointed at her DNA. She whispered, "Okay, no more playing nice." She sprinted. No luck, no probability bends, no accidental debris. Just Domino. Counterflux fired null-wake darts. She slid under them. They swung a distortion blade. She blocked it with a snapped metal pipe. The vortex net roared behind her. She ducked behind a broken ferrocrete pillar. The pillar disintegrated. Domino hissed, "Okay, that's aggressive." She launched herself into a roll, shoulder screaming. An operative grabbed her wrist. Target acquired. Domino twisted, dislocated her own shoulder to slip free, grabbed his helmet, and slammed his head into a rusted pipe. He dropped. Domino panted. 11 to go. Super. The vortex net charged once more. Domino sprinted, and the world flickered again. 3 possible outcomes flashed ahead of her. She dodges left and gets sliced open. She dodges right and gets tagged by null-wake. She slides under the attack and kicks the generator. Domino chose 3. Her body obeyed instantly. She slid under the null-wake beam, launched upward and kicked the generator. It exploded. The operatives staggered. Their dampeners flickered. Domino whispered, Oh, that's new." Her fractured luck wasn't luck now. It was short-term probability foresight. A cheat sheet for survival. And she wasn't going to waste it. Domino leapt into motion, dodging beams an instant before they fired, striking operatives in the split second before their aim steadied, shattering devices right as their internal coils overloaded. One by one they dropped. The last operative swung his distortion blade. Domino ducked, grabbed his wrist and slammed him into the dirt. He convulsed and went still. Silence. Dust slowly settled over the battlefield. Domino stood in the centre, breathing hard, bleeding, alive. She whispered, "Kelith, I wish you could have seen that." He crept from hiding, wide-eyed. You beat them." Domino shook her head. "Not beat, survived. Big difference." He stepped closer. "People will talk about this. Everyone will. Your hope." Domino froze. "Hope? Her? After everything? After Calith?" She swallowed hard. "I'm not hope, kid. I'm just trying to stay alive." He shook his head. "That's enough. In this place, that's enough." Domino handed him one of the fallen operative's rations. "Take this. Share it. Hide until night." He nodded and ran. Domino watched him go, then turned east, toward the ruins of a distant hive city, toward new dangers, toward new hunters, toward whatever her power was becoming. She whispered, "All right, universe, Round 18. Let's dance. And the legend of the white-fated ghost grew another chapter. Domino walked for hours across the ash dunes, her boots carving messy trails through a world that felt both dead and watching. The sky burned a muted orange above her. The wind hissed through broken pipelines like old ghosts sighing. Her body ached, her muscles screamed, her mind hummed with aftershocks of foresight flashes. Every now and then, a flicker of probability, a glimpse of what might be, rippled across her vision. A falling stone, a misfiring gun, a tripwire, a shadow. Not luck, not chance, not survival instinct, prediction. Short, sharp, instinctive. Like her mutation was learning new ways to keep her alive. Domino muttered, "I swear to God, if this evolves into time travel, I'm retiring." She knelt beneath a half-collapsed bridge to rest, and that's when she felt it. A pulse, a tug, a ripple in the air. Not in front, not behind, but around her, like reality was breathing unevenly. Domino froze. Okay, that's not weather. Her foresight sharpened suddenly, vision fracturing into possible outcomes. 8, then 10, then dozens. Domino gasped, her head throbbed. Images flickered like shattered holo projections. A scavenger stepping on a landmine nearby. A Mechanicus Skitari patrol turning left instead of right. An Arbiter suppression squad finding corpses in a ruined hab. A child dropping a toy. A daemon forming in the cracks of reality. A man tripping on rubble 3 kilometers away. A bullet ricocheting off stone in a fight she wasn't part of. Domino staggered. Stop! 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 She fell to one knee, gripping her skull. Her power wasn't just predicting her future anymore. It was sampling probability across the wasteland. Too much, too fast, like a radio catching every channel at once. Domino choked. "I can't handle this. Make it stop." The air split with a whisper. "You opened the door, fate breaker. We merely wish to see inside." Domino's breath froze. Oh, hell no, the warp shimmered, not in the physical world, but in her foresight, bleeding into all future paths like ink. Every possible outcome contained a flicker of a form she hated, that shifting, smiling silhouette, the daemon of broken probabilities, the thing that tried to claim her. But now, it wasn't bound to a single moment, it existed in many futures simultaneously, watching her. Studying her, feeding on the paradox of her existence. Her foresight stuttered. Every future snapped back to one vision, the daemon standing directly behind her. Domino whirled around, nothing there. The daemon whispered, "You are growing, beyond anomaly, beyond chance, becoming chaos incarnate." Domino snarled, "No, I'm becoming someone who doesn't let you touch her mind." The ground cracked. Warp filaments crawled across the dust. The daemon's voice deepened. "We want only to guide you, to help you break reality more cleanly." Domino laughed bitterly. "Yeah, no thanks. I've already broken enough." A klaxon blared. Domino spun around. From behind a dune, a convoy of rust-red buggies and wargs emerged, Mechanicus scavenger units, armed with electro-harpoons and cognition-link rifles. Their leader spoke through a loudspeaker garbled with static. "Anomaly Thurman. You will be retrieved. Submission ensures minimal disassembly." Domino raised an eyebrow. "Great. Robot tax collectors." She tried focusing her foresight on them, but the daemon's presence distorted her vision. Futures overlapped. Outcomes tangled. Possibilities spiraled. Domino hissed. "Not now." The daemon giggled. "They fear you. We admire you." She grit her teeth. "I'll take fear over whatever you call admiration." The Mechanicus walkers fired their cognition links, blue arcs of logic lightning that tried to calcify her probability field. Domino ducked behind a collapsed wall. Her foresight flickered. 3 futures. She runs right. Gets hit by a harpoon. She runs left, shell shockwave knocks her down. She jumps forward, lands behind a fallen mech chassis. Domino jumped. The harpoon missed by inches. A plasma bolt smashed the dune behind her. She rolled behind the scrap pile. Domino grinned weakly. "Okay, I'm starting to get the hang of this." Yes, bend those futures. Break their linearity. Domino snapped back. "Shut up!" She kicked a broken mech arm. It swung unexpectedly, hit a cognition-linked trooper, and knocked him out cold. Domino blinked. "Not what I planned, but I'll take it." A walker charged her, hydraulic jaws snapping. Domino's foresight revealed one successful path: a leap onto the walker's knee joint, kick the pneumatics, collapse its balance. She followed it perfectly. The walker toppled. Dust erupted. Mechanicus units shrieked Binharic curses. Domino stood panting, hands shaking. Her vision split, but this time into hundreds of possible futures. Voices whispered. Warp static crackled. Probability spiraled out of control. She fell to one knee, clutching her head. "No, no, no, not again!" The daemon whispered gently, "You are not meant to carry this alone." Domino spat blood. "And I'm not joining your multi-dimensional book club." She forced herself upright, her ability condensed, constricting from hundreds of futures to a manageable handful. She focused on the one where she survived. Not won, not triumphed, just survived. She sprinted for the ruins. She dove through a shattered maintenance tunnel just as the walkers collapsed the entrance behind her. Dust filled the air. Her lungs burned. Her foresight sputtered. The daemon's presence faded for now. Domino collapsed against a wall, chest heaving. Her voice was a whisper. "My power's changing. It's not luck anymore." She clenched her fists, its probability sight. Probability shaping. She looked down the long, dark tunnel. "And it's going to kill me if I don't learn to control it." She stood. "I need help, not the Imperium, not the Mechanicus, not the Warp. Someone else. Someone who understood mutation, instinct, fate, survival. Someone who embraced the beast inside, but never surrendered to the Warp." Domino breathed, "The Space Wolves." The idea terrified her, which meant it was probably the right move. She set off toward the distant northern mountains, toward Fenrisian enclaves rumoured to exist on this world, toward the only warriors who might understand a person who defied fate by instinct alone. The wasteland howled behind her. The warp whispered ahead, and Domino walked toward the only future she could shape, her own. The mountains rose like jagged fangs against a bruised sky as Domino climbed the shale ridge, breath steaming in the cold. Her foresight pulsed in short, sharp flashes, still unstable but more cooperative than before. Her body ached from hours of climbing. Her mind throbbed from the constant push-pull of probability streams, and the warp's attention was a weight she could feel behind her ribs. But something else stirred on the wind, something ancient, something predatory, something watching. Domino muttered, "If that's another daemon, I swear to God I'm throwing myself off this cliff." A low growl answered. Domino froze. From behind frost-coated boulders, two armoured figures emerged, massive, fur-draped, scars across their skin like claw marks from beasts the size of tanks. Space wolves. But not full Astartes. These were wolf scouts, the feral-eyed elite trackers who often roamed alone for months. Their leader, a tall figure with braided grey hair, sniffed the air. Domino blinked. "Are you smelling me?" he rumbled. "You smell like fate gone rotten and sorrow fresh as blood." Domino raised both hands. "Cool. And you smell like a dog that mugs people." The scouts exchanged glances. Then the leader cracked a grin. "Good sign, or terrible." "Bold tongue. You're either brave or broken." Domino sighed. "Little of column A, little of column B." The second scout, shorter, meaner, took a step forward. "You're the one the Imperium hunts. The white-fated ghost." Domino groaned. "God, that name's gonna stick, isn't it?" The scout nodded. "It already has." Domino's vision flickered, a sudden splitting of futures. Dozens of branching possibilities. Most involved violence, blood, the space wolves attacking her, the warp intervening, or her collapsing under foresight overload. But there was one thread, thin, fragile, where none of them died. Domino inhaled. "Listen, I need help, and you're the only lunatics in this galaxy whose survival instinct is as screwed up as mine." The lead scout sniffed again. "You seek the wolves, not to join, but to learn." Yes, Domino said. I need control, before my brain melts. The mountain wind howled. The second scout leaned close, eyes narrowing. And why? Would we help a witch of fate? Domino locked eyes with him. Because something is coming for me. Something from the warp I can't outrun. Her voice cracked. And if I fall, it won't stop at me. The scout stilled. The wind died. Even the mountain seemed to listen. The leader growled low. Walk with us, but know this, the wolves do not suffer manipulation. Good, Domino muttered. Neither do I. Far below the ridge, a gunship prowled through the dusk haze like a hunting bird. Inquisitor Malia Vaughan stood inside, cloak whipping with psychic static. A Vox adept knelt at her side. Report. The adept trembled. My lady, we have triangulated anomalous warp pulses in the Northern Territories. They match the signature of Thurman's paradox field. Vaughan's lips curled into a grim smile. At last she ceases to hide. A tech officer spoke. Lady Inquisitor, we also detect Space Wolves signatures. Vaughan's gauntlet sparked. Perfect. Bloodshed will reveal her fate. She turned toward her troops. Prepare the Solemnus protocol. If she is with the wolves, we burn the mountain. The wolves led Domino into a cavern lit by bioluminescent fungus and heat vents. Bones of massive beasts lay scattered. A place of trial, not comfort. The lead scout spoke. Your power stinks of chaos, but shaped by will, not corruption. Domino rubbed her temples. Yeah, it feels like having a migraine that learned kung fu. The scout grinned. We will test you, break you, forge what remains. Domino raised a hand. No offence, but I'm not looking to be wolfified. I just need to not explode. The scout shrugged. Learning not to explode is most of wolfhood. The exercises began, meditation beside geothermal vents, walking blind through pitch-black tunnels, guided only by instinct, fighting blindfolded against wolves, the size of horses forcing foresight pulses to shorten, sharpen, obey. Domino stumbled, fell, swore, bled. But she learned, her foresight condensed into moments instead of floods. Predictive flashes she could trigger, a sense of short-term probability she could direct. The lead scout nodded. You are no psyker, no witch, no abomination. He leaned close. You are something new. Domino exhaled. Please don't say prophecy. I'm allergic. The scout barked a laugh. No prophecy, only teeth. During meditation, her breath steadying, a ripple shook the cavern. Lights dimmed. Frost crawled across stone. The warp daemon's whisper slithered into her mind. Little fate breaker, playing wolf, but you smell of us. Domino froze. The scouts growled, fangs bared. The daemon cooed, almost ready, almost ripe. Domino stood, fists trembling. Get out of my head! The scouts surrounded her, protecting rather than attacking. The daemon laughed. You cannot run forever. The end of your thread approaches. Then it vanished. Domino's breath shook. The lead scout knelt beside her. You are hunted by more than men. Domino whispered, yeah, and I'm tired of it. She stood, no fear in her eyes, only resolve. I need to face it, and I need to end this. The lead scout nodded. Then the wolves stand with you. A thunderous explosion rocked the mountainside. The wolves snarled. Domino spun. The cavern roof shook as fire bloomed outside. Gunships blotted out the sky. Dozens. At their front, the one woman whose hatred burned brighter than her faith, Inquisitor Malia Vaughan. Her voice boomed through Vox amplifiers. Nina Thurman! The Emperor's will demands your end! Domino whispered. Well, that answers the question. Peace was never an option. She stepped forward, eyes shifting with flickering foresight. The wolves stood beside her. Vaughan raised her gauntlet. The mountain trembled. Domino exhaled. Round 19. Let's finish this. The mountains burned. Gunships rained fire onto the shale cliffs, turning stone to molten glass. The air howled with bolter fire and engines shrieking on descent. Stormtroopers poured out in disciplined lines, fate-dampening generators humming like angry hornets. At the centre of the devastation stood Domino, bruised, bleeding, furious, flanked by two Space Wolves scouts who'd chosen defiance over obedience. Above them, on a shattered rock outcropping like a throne of fire, stood Inquisitor Malia Vaughn, psychic hood glowing with crackling violet fury. Her amplified voice thundered across the battlefield. "Nina Thurman! The end of your thread is upon you!" Domino let out a shaky breath. "Oh my God, Vaughn! If I had a credit for every time you said that, I'd buy a planet." The two wolf scouts growled in laughter. Stormtroopers advanced in formation. The null-wake weapon hummed as its anti-probability field expanded. Domino felt her foresight strangled. No visions, no flickers, no warnings. Her power shut down like a blown fuse. Domino grit her teeth. "Fine, we're doing this analog." She sprinted forward, dodging instinctively, not through prediction, but sheer experience and fury. The wolf scouts charged beside her, their blades flashing. Bolter rounds tore up the ground. Stormtroopers fell under wolf steel and animal ferocity. Domino vaulted debris, slid under gunfire, and shattered visors with brutal precision. Without her probability powers, she felt fragile, frighteningly human, every movement a risk, and somehow that clarity strengthened her. The Inquisitor leapt from her perch, landing with a psychic shockwave that split stone. Her eyes glowed with pure hatred. "You ruined the Sisterhood. You corrupted the wolves. You destabilized entire predictive engines. You spat on Imperial destiny." Domino wiped blood from her lip. "And you murdered the only friend I had here." Vaughn raised her gauntlet. "I purged a heretic." Domino's expression sharpened into something colder than rage. "No, you killed a girl who embodied everything you pretend to stand for." Vaughn charged, psychic blade crackling. Domino ducked, rolled, barely escaped being bisected. Without foresight, this fight was suicide. But Domino had something else now. Resolve that could not be predicted. A cold hum rippled across the battlefield. The wolf scouts staggered. Domino felt the hairs on her arms stand up. Reality bent, shadows stretched, shapes flickered in the smoke. The warp entity, the daemon of broken probabilities, manifested in half a dozen overlapping silhouettes, each one a different version of itself. Domino snarled, "Oh, come on! I'm busy!" The daemon laughed like a chorus of dying stars. "Fatebreaker, you shine so brightly when you hurt. Let us claim you." Vaughn screamed, "The daemon is mine to banish!" Stormtroopers panicked. The wolf scouts bared their teeth. Domino spat, "No, it's mine." Her foresight, dead for minutes, suddenly flickered. Barely a spark. But there, 3 possible futures flashed before her eyes. 1. Kill the daemon. She survives, but Vaughn kills the wolves and captures her. 2. Kill Vaughn. She survives, but the daemon drags her into the warp screaming. 3. Save the wolves. She dies. Both the daemon and Vaughn win. Domino whispered, "No, I refuse all 3. The daemon hissed delightedly. "Impossible. Delicious." Domino planted her feet. The ground trembled. Her heart pounded. Every moment with Calith, every near-death escape, every burden of luck, every cost, every injustice, all of it ignited into a wildfire inside her. Domino snarled at existence itself. I decide my own damn ending. Her foresight didn't flash. It exploded. Thousands of possible futures spiraled outward, then narrowed to a single razor-thin path. A path that shouldn't exist. A path no one human, daemon or inquisitor had ever predicted. Domino sprinted straight toward the null-wake emitter at the center of the Inquisition formation. Vaughn shouted, "Stop her!" Stormtroopers turned. The daemon lunged. The wolves howled. Domino threw herself onto the emitter, ripping open its energy cell with bare hands. A scream of white fire, not warp, not psychic, not technological, but pure probability collapse exploded outward. The anti-probability field shattered. Domino's power came roaring back, not fractured, not hesitant, but whole, sharp as a blade, stable as steel, and hers. The foresight activated without prompting. Domino saw. Vaughn lunging at her. The daemon attempting to consume her spark, the wolves poised to die defending her, dozens of deaths in dozens of futures, and exactly one path where all 3 threats were neutralized and she survived. Domino whispered, Time to thread the needle. She ducked under Vaughn's blade, pivoted, grabbed the Inquisitor by the cloak and threw her backward. Vaughn flew straight through the daemon's half-formed body. The daemon howled, caught between material and immaterial flesh. Domino kicked the broken emitter. Its leftover charge surged, and the exploding null-wake field wrapped both Vaughn and the daemon in a paradox implosion. The warp shrieked. Vaughn screamed. Both were dragged into a collapsing tear, erased from every future Domino could see. Silence fell. The tear closed. Vaughn and the daemon were gone. Forever. The wolves approached her slowly. The world was quiet. The gunships fell still. Stormtroopers dropped their weapons, terrified. The lead scout spoke softly. Fate bent around you. Even the warp fled. Domino didn't feel triumphant. She felt empty, exhausted, alive, barely. She whispered, "I'm done running." The scouts nodded. "Then walk with us." Domino shook her head. "No, I walk alone." The scouts bowed their heads. So be it, white-fated. By nightfall, the Imperium had already rewritten the story. The Inquisitor died closing a warp rift. The daemon was banished by holy fire. The anomaly disappeared in the chaos. But among refugees, sisters and wolves, another truth spread. A woman who walked through fate itself, who chose her own ending, who broke every rule, who left death and miracles intertwined. A ghost who could not be predicted, could not be caught, could not be killed. Domino, the white-fated ghost, the rogue of impossible odds. Domino stood on the ridge as dawn cracked the horizon. She whispered to the wind, "Calith, I made it." Then she pulled her hood up, tightened her boots and walked into the wasteland. A rogue, a wanderer, a myth, a woman who survived fate itself. Her story wasn't over, but the Imperium would never again decide how it went. In the months that followed the battle in the mountains, the Imperium tried, with all its arrogance, fear and administrative fury, to erase Domino from its records. Officially, the Inquisition declared no anomaly existed, no probability witch survived, no Inquisitor Malia Vaughn died in dishonour, no schism occurred among the sororitas, no daemon of fractured fate manifested on Imperial soil. The Administratum replaced every report with a clerical error stamp. Cities burned, soldiers died, a manufactorum collapsed, and an entire wasteland reshaped by impossible forces, and yet the Imperium insisted nothing happened. But people remember, people talk, people believe. They whisper of a woman with a half-smile and mismatched eyes who appears in the worst moments. When a pilgrim transport is ambushed by mutants, when a hab block collapses in the night, when a corrupted preacher threatens a village, when a trade caravan faces starvation, when a patrol of Arbites grows cruel, a woman who moves like she knows the next 3 seconds, a woman who walks through death without fear. They call her the white-fated ghost, the fortune walker, she who chooses, the rogue saint of lost chances. Some say she's a psyker, some say a daemon. Some say a heretic, some say a saint, but all agree. No one shoots straighter, no one survives longer, no one refuses the Imperium quite like her. In a quiet cloister of the Argent Vale, a single candle burns every night beneath a small memorial plaque. It reads, "Sister Calith, who saw truth, who chose mercy, who died unbroken. The sisters who knew her add prayers beneath their breath, and may the ghost who grieves for her find peace." The canoness keeps a rosary that once belonged to Calith. She fingers it during moments of doubt, and sometimes on nights when the wind howls strangely through the cloister, she swears she sees a shadow on a distant ridge, a silhouette with a hood watching over them, never entering. Never intruding, just guarding. "Thank you," the canoness whispers each time, but the shadow never answers. In the storm-racked halls of the Space Wolves' forward enclave, the wolf scouts speak her name with a mix of respect and irreverent amusement. They tell Sagas she fought the war and called it boring. She cracked a null-wake generator with her bare hands. She defied an Inquisitor and lived. She faced a daemon with her teeth bared and no weapon. She chose her own fate. One scout laughs into his mug of ale, and she insults better than half our pack. The wolves muse quietly, never aloud, that she would have made a fine wolf sister, if fate had been a kinder thing. Somewhere deep in the Imperium, the thing that once hunted her writhes in its prison of paradox, torn out of the material world by Domino's impossible choice. It whispers her name with a mixture of longing and hatred. Fatebreaker, one day. We will finish our game, but the warp itself recoils because she touched its edges, stabbed it, bent it, denied it. And for the first time in eons, the warp fears the future. On the fringe of the world, beneath a cracked moon and a sky littered with dying stars, Domino sits on the roof of an abandoned shuttlecraft. Her boots swing lazily, her face is half lit by moonlight, her breath is steady. She cleans a salvaged rifle with patient hands, Calith's rosary wrapped around her wrist. Domino mutters, "You should see me now, kid." Her foresight flickers once, a camp of refugees nearby, in danger. Half-starved, scared, Domino stands, puts the rifle over her shoulder, pulls her hood up, takes a step forward and whispers with a faint smile, "It'll work out somehow." Then she disappears into the night, a ghost of probability, grief and impossible determination, hunted by an empire, curted by the warp, respected by wolves, mourned by sisters, feared by inquisitors and walking a road no one else can see. Domino, the white-fated ghost, the rogue of impossible odds. The woman who refused her fate. Her legend is only beginning, and so ends the tale of the woman who defied the ledger of fate. In a galaxy where destiny is carved in iron, faith is enforced by fire, and the very stars scream with the weight of prophecy, there walked, for a brief and improbable span, a woman who simply refused to play by the rules. She was not a Primarch, not a Psyker, not a daemon, not a saint, just a stray from another world. A rogue probability given skin and scars. A survivor who learned the cost of standing alone and the price of letting someone stand beside her. History will not record her accurately. It rarely records rebels with kindness. The Inquisition will brand her an omen of corruption. The Mechanicus will classify her as a statistical virus. The ecclesiarchy will mutter of heresy whispered between choir hymns. Some chapters will hunt her. Others will watch the shadows for her silhouette. But in the quiet corners of the Imperium, in the gutters, in the wastelands, in the forgotten places between dying hives, her story is told differently. They say she helped when no one else would. They say she moved like a glitch in reality. They say she saved those the Imperium left behind. They say her eyes saw futures even the warp feared. They say she chose her path when everyone else was told theirs. They say she walks still, not with glory, not with triumph banners, not with the fanfare of heroes, but with purpose. A soft footstep on ash, a whisper in the dark, a hand extended toward the lost, a defiant grin in the face of the inevitable. The Imperium calls her a ghost. The people call her hope. And somewhere, beneath a broken moon in a dying age, a lone traveller walks the long road, not because fate demands it, not because prophecy foretold it, but because she decided to. A woman who broke destiny once and may yet do it again. This concludes the Chronicle of Domino, the white-fated ghost of the 41st millennium.